guys. Welcome.
Okay, so it's been a while. It's been a fuck, fucking long while since I've streamed last, and I do apologize. But that does not disregard what I haven't done. So I'm going to go ahead and pause the music, and we're gonna start this because we deserve that. Okay. I think that's good. Close that. And we finished on the end of chapter 6. You know what? Let's view all the tips, and we'll just go through it. We'll go through all of them. So we've done this one. We've done this one. Don't think we've done these. I feel like we should just go through all of them, honestly. But that's just me. We'll do that at the end, I think. I think that... No, let's catch up. What's a mixed grade? So, Rena, we're the same age?
Yes. Daiichi-kun. Yes. That's right. We're the same zodiac animal too.
Hey now, it would be weird if we were the same age, but not the same zodiac animal. That's not true. If your birthday isn't the same, then you can have different animals even if you're the same age.
Huh? Oh, I see. Mion, you're pretty smart. What month were you born by the way, Kaiichi-kun? I'm July.
Rena smirked and puffed up with pride. Hey, now, what's the meaning of this? She's not planning to be all high and mighty if her birthday is just a wee bit sooner than mine, is she? Don't even. It's impossible to challenge me by birthday. I wouldn't even mind if you bet $1 per month.
Huh? Why?
Rena panicked at suddenly being challenged to a wager. Given how panicked she is, I am certain she doesn't have much allowance left this month. It's just setting her into a panic about something as simple as a birthday is so fun, I can't help myself. So that means you were born in April, Kei-chan? Right on. Too bad, Rena. I'm already far older than Rena.
Oh! I see. Then you're the same age as Mi-chan.
Well, it's just a few months. That gap will open up again soon enough. Mion snickered through her nose. Hey, now that's not something to get all high and mighty about. As if I'm one to talk. Now that you mention it, you're in a higher grade, right, Mion? If you're into underclassmen, then blah, blah, blah. If you're into underclassmen, then I can be an underclassman from underclassmen from now on. Oh wait. Oh, that was Mion. If you're into underclassmen, then I can be an underclassman from now on.
Mi-chan, you're not making any sense to me.
Just by seeing Rena's blushing face, you could tell she knew exactly what she meant by it, though. Then Satoko and Rika-chan are underclassmen. Their grade is so different that they should be in a different school, shouldn't they?
Kaiichi-kun, your tastes are a bit too young, I think.
You're not making any sense yourself, Rena. I'll just grab onto her head and scruff it up a bit.
Oh, stop it!
I wondered about it before, yeah. I was wondering why the school had different school years all mixed up. There aren't enough classrooms. Can't help it. This building is being rented from the forestry services after all. When she says it like that, it makes sense. I've thought our school was strange for a while now. The schoolyard is gravel. There are rooms that aren't for classes, and there's some strange sort of construction machinery parked here. Why is it being borrowed? What happened to the real school? There was one here forever from before the war. It got, dilapidated. They closed it down. It probably was a grand old schoolhouse. Well, because of that, the students would have had to attend school in the city. That's pretty far though, you know?
Which school would that be?
Did you know there's a school if you pass by Okinomiya's train station, turn at the hospital, and head towards the pediatrics department?
What? This is so far.
I couldn't tell where that was by the location, but I understood it was pretty far from Rena's reaction. Well, that's why. The guys that didn't want to commute to Okinomiya rented out the building from the forestry services and are attending this pseudo-schoolhouse here.
About half the children in Hinamizawa go here. There are quite a lot of kids that come here on bike.
Well, since they're attending this really messed up school, it might be pretty hard for them to get it high. That was Kaiichi. Well, since they're attending this really messed up school, it might be pretty hard for them to get into a higher education.
That's not true.
Oh, that was Mion. Okay. Well, since they're attending this really messed up school, it might be pretty hard for them to get into a higher education.
That's not true, Mii-chan. If you study properly, you can go anywhere you want.
Yeah, that's right. That's right. I totally agree with Rena on this one.
Yes, that's right. That's right. Let's try our best.
All of you try your best. This old man will be rooting for you.
Not just us, you too. You should be preparing for exams, shouldn't you? Your future is bleak with grades like this.
Fine, just fine. If I get struck... Oh wait, that was probably Kaiichi at the top. Oh well. Fine, fine. If I get stuck, then I'll just mooch off Kei-chan as he works forever.
What do you mean by work forever? What do you mean?
Hey, you're too loud. Be quiet during self-study. Oh, that's the teacher! That's the teacher! Wait, that's the teacher! I need to remember how the teacher looks. One moment, let me get... She does have a sprite. She does. I'm trying to figure out how she looks real quick. Okay, log. Hey, you're too loud. Be quiet during self-study. The teacher yelled at all three of us. It was completely our fault. Satoko saw it and chortled haughtily. I stuck out my tongue at her in response. It is, just as Mion says, the school has nothing to do with higher education. But it makes up for that by having lots of valuable things other schools don't. So that was that one. We don't have a uniform? It's only June, but it's already so hot. I could hear the Higurashi outside chirping me at night, and there are mosquitoes. It might as well be summer already. My only salvation was that the mornings were so cool.
Summer, I do declare!
Satoko was flapping her skirt. I love that. I love that for me. I love my thing just falling down. It's great. 10 out of 10. Would fall down again. Satoko was flopping her skirt along with
British English pronunciation. Languidly. 3.
Okay. Satoko was flapping her skirt languidly. Languidly. That's a word I didn't know. That's pretty unladylike there. Even if she was a little brat, she was still a girl.
Kaiichi does seem quite cool with just a single button-up shirt. I'm so jealous.
From how I see things, the skirt you're wearing looks like it would be much cooler. A girl like you just wouldn't understand wearing jeans during the season and how steamy the crotch gets.
It gets steamy? Oh.
This girl has gone imagining something indecent. Rena summer clothes have a nice, refreshing color. I feel cooler just looking at them.
Thank you. They really do feel pretty cool.
Oh. Oh, that was Satoko.
Rena's summer clothes have a nice refreshing color. I feel cooler just looking at them. Thank you. They really do feel pretty cool. I do wish my summer clothes were as breezy as Rena's.
But Satoko, your summer clothes are so cute, being a one piece and all. I'd like to wear your summer clothes. Actually, I think that was probably Rena. That was probably Rena because it's so cute.
But Satoko-chan, your summer clothes are so cute, being a one piece and all. I'd like to wear your summer clothes. This is actually quite stuffy, you know. I do believe what you're wearing would feel much cooler. But it would be so much more fun with cute clothes. Oh.
I had a feeling that Rena and Satoko's base values are fundamentally different. Speaking of which, our school doesn't have a uniform.
Yeah, it doesn't. As long as they're proper, then regular clothes are fine.
There are quite a few students in regular clothes. There were a few wearing uniform, but they were all the same design and rather plain. What's the uniform they're all wearing? They're all the same.
That's the city school uniform. That's the city school uniform. It's not like there's a rule, but they're all wearing them.
Speaking of which, everybody in our group is wearing a different uniform, aren't we? Did you go out of your way to get them from somewhere?
Why, yes. Mion-san supplied them. Mi-chan's relative runs a second-hand clothing store. They can get some school clothes from all over the country for cheap, they say.
So you asked those relatives to get a bunch of unique school uniforms then? That Mion probably loves using her friends as dress-up dolls. That must be a strange second-hand clothing store. I get that it's a second-hand clothing store, but stocking clothes from schools all over the country? That's pretty strange for a second-hand clothing store. What's the point in stocking up clothes from faraway schools they know nothing about?
Yeah, I think so too. They also have used school swimsuits and PE uniforms. I don't like the idea of having used ones.
Doesn't sound like that shop makes much money. They probably have Mion pitch in and help so that they can make a bit more.
But Mion says it'll be a big hit and become a great store. With such conviction.
A second-hand clothing store. The stock school uniforms will be a big hit? I don't get it. Okay, we've read that one. We've read the dismemberment. Don't think we've done the Hinamizawa Dam project, so let's go ahead and do that. October 1975. In accordance with the Prime Minister's Bulletin Number XXX, Hinamizawa's Electrical Development Master Plan was announced. The vast scope of the project Hinamizawa Dam will have an incredibly heavy impact on the village of Hinamizawa. The flooded area caused by the Hinamizawa Dam would include the 5 areas of Hinamizawa, Takasudo, Kiyotsu, Matsumoto, and Yaguchi. The submerged area includes 291 houses, population 1,251, 1 elementary school, 1 middle school, 1 post office, 1 agricultural cooperative, 1 forestry department lumber yard, 5 shrines, 2 temples, and 1 fishery. All of these communal cultural agricultural areas and places of worship will be indefinitely submerged at the bottom of the artificial lake basin. Forsaking the hundreds of years of our ancestors poured their blood and sweat into this fertile, resource-rich land is just too painful to bear. All the residents having homes that were to be submerged banded together and created the Onigafuchi Defense Alliance. The dam project was halted and petitions to alter the plan were circulated. The citizens sought peaceful negotiations, but the government and its puppet company XXXX openly refused. Performing unspeakable, heinous acts, they quashed the democratic actions of the villagers. But the villagers did not falter. Instead, they banded together even more closely and steeled their resolve to protect their homes to the death. The continuation of that frightening Hinamizawa Dam construction project is still stalled as of today. The villagers understand that the stalling was caused by sublime power through unity, and they understand that this fearsome plan has not yet been fully withdrawn. The Onigafuchi Defense Alliance has been dissolved after it did its part, but the feelings of unity it garnered have not yet been extinguished. As long as that passion resides in the hearts of the residents, they'll be able to confront whomever next decides to sink their homes into a lake basin. Onigafuchi Defense Alliance Committee Chairman Kichiro Kimiyoshi. Special tabloid report. I wonder what they're gonna say. Nightmare befalls the Hinamizawa Dam. Lynching and murder and dismemberment. In X month of X day in XX prefecture at the Hinamizawa Dam construction worksite in Shishibon City, a bone-chilling, gruesome murder/dismemberment. Even though this case has shocked the archipelago, the police will give no details on the case. Exactly what happened at the Hinamizawa Dam. They probably didn't mean to kill him at first, but as the victim resisted it by swinging around a shovel, the rest of the perpetrators armed themselves in return, and it quickly escalated to homicide. So said the aforementioned investigator A. After this bloody tragedy was over, they were left with a body, which nobody thought was alive. XX-san had tormented the suspects daily with his rough behavior. At first, it was meant to be payback. All the perpetrators were horrified by their deed, and one even turned himself into the police. It was the de facto leader of this group, XX, who suggested hiding the body. Reluctantly at first, they soon began to think they did not wish to be caught. The construction site had numerous places to hide the body with 6 people. They were originally supposed to hide the body and leave the area. But then the de facto leader feared that the consciousness of the other 5 wouldn't be able to bear the burden, and came up with a horrifying method to keep them from turning him in to the police. He devised a heinous method of splitting up the body among them and making each of them responsible for hiding a piece. XX had turned a simple manslaughter into a gruesome dismemberment, and forcibly involved each perpetrator in order to create a sense of unity between them. Each one participated, but what does this mean? Person A spoke out reluctantly. XX had ordered each and every one of them to dissect and piece for themselves. They were hesitant at first, but nobody refused. In for a penny, in for a pound was what it meant. Thus, an unimaginable bloody ceremony began. The perpetrators wept and vomited as they performed the gruesome task. There was one person who stubbornly refused, but XX threatened them, saying nothing would change if someone else ended up dead, and he gave up in his objections. But XX's plan collapsed in the span of one night. XXXX, who had refused to dissect the corpse up until the very last moments, had broken down into tears at the hospital where he was being treated for an injury sustained during the scuffle and confessed. The criminals were arrested one after the other, but the de facto leader XX's whereabouts are still unknown. Also, the right arm hidden by XX has yet to be found. Despite an ongoing search, this horrible individual has so far managed to elude law enforcement. What could the police be doing? It appears that XX had said he was going to throw the body right arm into the marsh. XX's car was discovered abandoned in the marsh, but there were no clues to his whereabouts. XX didn't trust his companions. One cannot deny the possibility that he had expected his companions to confess to the police and used his car as a decoy. Of course, I doubt that theory. Since he has no car, one would expect him to have a limited area to which he could have escaped to. But within the station, there were rumors going around that he had accidentally slipped and drowned in the marsh when he went to throw away the body. To the locals, that marsh is believed to be bottomless. It's known as Onagafuchi, the Ogre's Abyss, and it's said that the bottom of the marsh is connected to the hellish world of demons. The atrocious demon from hell that was XX. Could it be that he had returned to hell through the marsh? The Zenji Dragon, bringer of luck and fortune! Prosperous future! Ladies leaping into your arms! Business success! Promotions! Ambition! Protection from harm! Not just with Pachiko, not just with Pachinko and horse races, but businesses and even love! Guaranteed or your money back! Zenji Dragon Bracelet DX One Piece, 27,800 yen. How much is 27,800 yen? Let me check. In USD, that is $183.82. Well, that was supposed to be scary, but it obviously I'm unfazed. Light work, no reaction. What kind of name is Rena? You don't just ask somebody why they're white.
Rena's not here. Do you know where she is, Kaiichi?
Huh? She was just there, actually. Hey, Mion, where did Rena go? Rena? Didn't she go to the bathroom? She did say that she's been having bowel troubles lately. I hadn't heard anything about that. Satoko, do you know where Rena went?
Rena, you say? I just passed her in the hallway. Rena has class duties today, so she's off to water the flower bed.
Ah, it was Rena's turn for class duty. And that's very much appreciated. Rena, Rena, Rena. Upon hearing it repeated, a thought came to mind. It's rude to say this about someone's name, but it was a weird name. It was like some foreigner's name. What kind of name is Rena, I wonder? What kind of kanji does her name use?
Rena is her nickname. She has a proper name as well.
What? Really? I was sure that Rena Ryugu was her full name.
Well, I can understand you making that mistake since we only call her Rena.
She even signs her name as Rena. It's like it's her real name in school. I wonder what her real name is. Let's ask her when she comes back. Satoko and Rika looked at each other.
You don't need to ask her. We'll tell you what it is.
Okay.
It's the Ray from Ore And now from Nara. Her real name is Rinea Ryugu.
Renea, is it? So it's read out as Rena instead of Renea. That's a pretty interesting reading.
No,
That's...
no, that's not it. Rihanna is the correct way. Rena had told us? Rena had told us that she wanted us to call her Rena, so we call her Rena.
We appreciate people who don't dead name others. K-chan. Rena is Rena, you know? Only strangers call her Rihanna. You get where this is going? I understood what Mion was saying. It didn't matter what her real name was, only what names we use between us. Rena Ryugu is Rena. She's nobody other than that. So I was thinking, if I had a nickname, would you call me by that? If it's good. So what do you want to be called? Con Man. Rena then came back into the classroom. One of the juniors near the door told Rena people were looking for her.
What's this now? Who is looking for me, I wonder?
Seeing that both Mion and I sneered. Bailiff Ryugu doth show herself! Con man, you're quite sinister!
What is this? What is this? Kaiichi-kun, Mi-chan are evil bailiffs? A con man?
Damn you, Renosuke Ryugu! Today doth be when thou meetest thy maker. Have at thee!
Suke-san, Kaku-san, show them what for. Aye, sir. I expect my fee to be paid to my Swiss bank account.
Since it's coming to this, we have no choice. We'll just have a grand battle with 5 people! Rena's fierce punches exploded in the proper timing to take out the seal. The evil that was Mion and myself was vanquished in the end. I do hope that Rena does go on a journey to make the world a better place. How about heading to the Nagata-cho? My destination is decided.
My destination is decided by where the cute stuff gathers.
The toll of the bell signaled that break time was over.
Come on, Kaiichi-kun, Mi-chan. The teacher's coming.
I took Rena's hand and stood up. It was just as the teacher had entered the classroom. Just one more hour. Man, oh man. Got to buckle down for one more. Rena, my beloved. Kaiichi, my beloved. Mion, my beloved. Everyone, my beloved. I love everyone in this series. 10 out of 10. Best characters. You want good characterization? Look at Higurashi. Community notice.
We're greeting the end of the rainy season sooner than in prior years. On this day, when it feels like summer will soon arrive, I am pleased that everyone is in good health. The season for the Watanagashi is finally upon us. I believe the assistance of the town council will make this a wonderful festival. I also wish to ask for the assistance of everyone in regards to a few things. 1. Collecting bazaar goods. We look forward to a well-received Hinamizawa Grand Bazaar exposition, holding a massive collection of excess goods and used clothing. No raw goods, please. Management, Makino Tel. Then the telephone. Recruiting Little Festival drum dancers. The renowned Little Festival drum dancers group, known for its careful choreography, the Shofu Society, is taking last-minute participants.
We're looking for any Showboat elementary and middle schoolers. Management, Kimiyoshi. Telephone number. Taking the donations. We are accepting donations in multiples of 1,000 yen. For every 1,000 yen donation, you'll be rewarded with a refreshment stand ticket. Management, Sonozaki. Telephone. We are always taking suggestions for ways to improve the festival at all times. If you have an interesting idea, call Kimiyoshi at XXXXX. There is a 200 yen refreshment stand ticket attached below the cut line. Okay, now we got these ones. Ooh boy. From the June 1980 edition, on the afternoon of XX at 2 p.m., office employee XXXX and his wife XXXX of Hinamezawa Village in the Shishibon Prefecture. What name? Satoshi. Okay, so her parents just don't have names whatsoever. That's fine. You don't need a name. You don't need a name to be here. You don't need a name. In Shishibon Prefecture, disappeared after falling 27 meters from the observatory platform in Shirakawa Prefecture. Police and firefighters searched downstream and discovered the body of XXXX at around 7 p.m. that evening. His wife, XXXXXX, has yet to be found. The search has run into difficulties due to the effects of Typhoon 3 from the previous day. It appeared a railing at the observatory that the XX's leaned on had broken, causing him to fall. The groundskeeping staff was questioned by the police in regards to the facility deterioration and if park maintenance was performed properly. The terminal illness of Shinto priest Fiure. From the June 1981 edition. On the afternoon of XX around 10 p.m. in the X district of Hinamezawa Village in Shishibon Prefecture, the Shinto priests of the Furede Shrine passed away after an existing condition he was recovering from suddenly worsened. Parties close to the deceased said he was suffering from anxiety issues concerning the festival which was to be held that day. Also, after XXX's death, his wife XXXX went missing, leaving behind a farewell note. The police and local youth association continued to search. However, given the presence of the farewell message and the fact that the Onigafuchi marsh is said to be bottomless, they have run into difficulties. Now it's a housewife murder! Woo! I don't think you should cheer for that. It wasn't reported in the newspaper. Thanks! Love that! Okay. Wait. I can make this cooler. Let me. I can make this cooler. Oh, cool. So it is already cool. Awesome. Cool. One moment. Let me see. I'm gonna check this myself. Bear with me one moment. This is the Okiyomi. Oh, this is the Okinomiya station calling Unit 3. Unit 3, please respond. This is Unit 3. Loud and clear. Backup is heading your way. Hold position until further instructions. Over. Roger, Unit 3 acknowledged. Requesting no headlights. Requesting radio silence. Station, the doctor has arrived. They want to carry it away. What's the order? Over. Acknowledged. Leave it to the doctor. Affirmative. Understood. Backup has arrived. Shouldn't we let them take a photo first? I think the Vic is done for. Cool! Oh shit, you guys saw that. Fuck. Whatever. Oh, you guys saw it beforehand! I'm stupid! Anyway. Okay. Let's continue the story. Something is amiss. Good morning! Nice job yesterday, Kei-chan. You didn't do so bad yourself, Mion. Yesterday was fun.
Oh, that's right, Kaiichi-kun. Thank you very much. For Mr. Bear.
I'm glad you like it. Don't use it as a pincushion, though.
I wouldn't.
Still chatting happily, we entered the classroom, but the moment I stepped into the room, a splashing sound and a nasty sensation. It was a bucket filled to the brim of water, and unfortunately, my foot stepped right into it.
My, now! How diligent of you to mop the floor this morning!
Clomp, 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 whip, whiff.
Koichi-san! Look to my forehead! You should set a more brutal trap next time. Seeing that, Rena began to
Blah blah blah. Seeing that, Rena began to swoon as Mion looked on dejectedly. Everything was the same as always. Everybody was there and nothing felt out of place. The uncertainties I had in the back of my mind since yesterday had vanished.
What is it, Kaiichi-kun? Didn't get enough sleep, maybe?
I slept like a log, but if you want, I'll do a reenactment of it during class.
You shouldn't do that!
Mion alerted us that the teacher was coming, so everyone shuffled off to their seats. Good morning, everyone. So, yesterday was the festival. Thank you to all the people who stayed until the very end to help clean up. We were all slackers, so none of us actually helped clean up. Actually, I had a feeling that the only thing we did was run around the festival and cause a ruckus. Okay then, this time of year, you might see some people here from out of town doing interviews about the festival for magazines. I thought it was the usual stuff, so I was going to tune it out, but then I noticed a different tone in her voice and started paying attention. You may be asked questions. Please don't say anything silly or something that could be taken the wrong way. Do you understand? In unison, everyone replied, "Yes, ma'am!" What she said was really vague, but I understood what she was trying to say. After all, this was the 5th year. There were probably lots of third-rate reporters pouring in, hoping something regarding the curse had happened. It did nothing but perpetuate the village's bad image. She was saying, "Don't spout stupid shit you think it's funny." And now I was one of the ones who needed to keep their mouths shut. I found it rather cute how I felt a sense of unity from such a trite thing, if I do say so myself. Kaiichi. I was summoned to club activities after school. Since everybody was still pretty tired from yesterday, we just spent the day relaxing. Yeah, that wasn't happening. Today, let's play a classic game of deduction. How about this one? Oh, a game from overseas? Looks interesting.
The instructions are in English, but the rules don't seem that hard. I won't lose you here. I'm not too bad at this game.
It seemed that Rena didn't handle this kind of game very well.
The rules are, the person who can match the murder, weapon, and the scene of the crime wins.
There were 3 kinds of cards that comprised of suspects, weapons, and locations. I could see the names Mion and Rico were written on the suspect cards. Oh, a card with my name on it as well. There are plenty of different weapons too, like knives, axes, and poison. The locations are pretty nice too, like the living room, the study, and the courtyard.
So, basically, you take one out of each of the cards. These are the answer cards.
So you shuffle the remaining cards and hand them out. We ask each other about the cards and figure out the right ones. Ah, I see. So the cards nobody has are the true perpetrators.
Then you raise your hand if you know the answer.
The game ends and we check if the answer is correct. Oh wait.
Then you raise your hand if you know the answer. The game ends and we check if the answer is correct.
If you're right, then you get a point. If you're wrong, then you lose a point. Since the game ends, even if no one gets it right, all the cards are gathered up and redistributed.
You'll learn as you go. You really have to use your brain. You'll get confused if you don't take notes.
The rest you can figure out by playing. So, Mion, what's the penalty this time? Everyone directed their attention to Mion. Let's see. We're also a little tired from yesterday, so maybe we'll take it easy with a gopher penalty. You'll be asked to rush out and buy stuff for everyone.
So just being asked to go buy stuff like drinks and candy, I guess. I feel like
Wait.
So just being asked to go buy stuff like drinks and candy, I guess. I feel like the penalty today is pretty simple.
I wonder, is it really?
Is Kaiichi-san thinking what I'm thinking?
Yeah. You don't know what you'll have to go buy. I'm betting Mion would send out whoever loses to buy stuff like hemorrhoid cream or happy family planning manual or other crazy stuff. The cards were lightly shuffled and passed out to each player. The real perpetrator, the correct weapon, and the scene of the murder have been taken out. So that means all the cards I have in my hand are innocent cards. Then I'll go first since I'm the club president. I guess. Well then, Mion.
I guess. Well then, neon, knife, study.
You pick one suspect, weapon, and murder scene and ask each person. If you have any of those cards, then you must say, I have one. However, you don't need to say which one you have. Yeah, I got it.
Me too. I have one. Oh my, all of them are here.
3 people answered. She asked if they had Mion, knife, and study. So that means Mion and knife and study are all in the clear. Got to jot that one down.
Then I'll go. Rena, Axe, Lounge.
Only 2 people said they had one. So it means out of Rena, Axe, and Lounge, one of them is correct and is part of the crime? No, wait. Even if they say they have one, they don't have to say how many. It's possible that either Satoko or Rika-chan has 2 of the cards.
Well, Kei-chan is next. Go ahead.
Wait, just a little. I'm still sorting things out. The game has me thinking more than I thought. Oh man, this feels like it's going to be tough. Alright, now I have the criminal. What? Already? Here I am spinning around in circles and Mion just now raises her hand.
The murderer is Rika-chan. In the infirmary with the poison.
Well? Mion drew the cards from the box and we checked to see if her deduction was right.
You were right. Oh, I needed was one more hand. I couldn't tell whether it was poison or a pistol. I've never used a pistol. I like killing them slowly with poison.
Rika-chan said such a hugely terrifying thing with such a sweet little face. Everyone was making a commotion about how they almost had it. Ren and I were left out in the cold though.
How did you do, Kaiichi-kun? I couldn't get it at all.
Don't worry, I had no idea either.
How can you both be so unsure? You'll both end up in last place together at this rate.
That's even worse! Going off buying something together as a couple? What if we end up having to buy the Happy Family Planning Guide?
I can tell from Kaiichi's expression that he's not very good at this game.
What? That's not true! I'll show you the true power of Sherlock Maibara during the next round.
My, that sounds just wonderful. I shall give you quite the thrashing.
Out of all the characters, I like voicing Satoko the most. Not gonna lie. After that, I managed to grasp the trick behind the game, but I was still always a step or 2 behind. I saw that Mion was somehow gleaming information from how others were asking their questions. That level of experience was just too much. The only way I could stage a comeback was if I became ruthless. I tossed out the simple concept of deduction and switched it over to the thought processes needed to win. The important thing isn't to find out the criminal, it's to win at the game. Eureka! Sorry, need to go to the bathroom. Take your time and squeeze out a nice one.
Me-chan, that's gross.
I had them hold off the game and headed down the hall. The air was crisp. It showed just how stagnant the air in the classroom was from our body heat. On the school grounds, some of our classmates were still playing around. After spending some time cooling my head, Rena had made her way over towards me.
Kaiichi-kun, did you call for me?
Yeah, I did. As I got up from my seat, I winked over at Rena. I'm glad it worked out. I don't want to waste much time, so I'll get right to the point. Rena, what's your record at this game we're playing today? She was taken aback after a moment. She hesitantly opened her mouth.
Well, all losses? Why do you ask, I wonder?
I could tell from how apprehensive she was playing. The way things are going, I will as well. I can't figure out a way to pull off a last-minute comeback on this one.
So, I guess both of us will be taking that penalty?
Hey, don't accept defeat already! How about we win this? Both of us!
But how can we?
I brought my lips up to Rena's ear.
Whisper, whisper, whisper. Huh? Is that allowed?
Did you forget, Rena? The second rule of our society? Do everything in your power to obtain victory.
Yeah, I'll try my best.
Our plan of attack was quite a rudimentary one. Let me get this cracker in my mouth real quick. Okay. At the beginning of the game, everyone would be focused on their own hand for a while, taking notes and whatnot. Since our seats are right next to each other, we'd reveal our hands to each other. If we did it under the desk, then nobody would know. We begin the game with twice as much information as everyone else. Having this much information would mean if we need it, would mean we'd need to investigate less.
With this sort of plan of attack, we start off with a big lead over the other guys.
Oh wait, with this sort of plan of attack, we start off a big lead over the other guys.
Yeah, with this we can probably win.
We both smirked at each other. If I was the shady businessman, the runner was the corrupt senator. Pleasure doing business with you. Then let's hurry back. We'll work as a duo to surprise everybody.
Hey now, there's no point if we go back together. It would be like flat out telling them we made a little arrangement.
Oh, shit. Wait.
Then let's hurry back. Work together to surprise everybody.
Hey now, there's no point if we go back together. It would be like flat out telling them we made a little arrangement.
Oh, sorry. Then what should we do?
Go back ahead of me, Rena. I'll take my time coming back after washing my face or something.
Okay, got it.
Rena turned around and headed back to the classroom. I guess I should wait a bit longer before going back. If I went too soon, it would seem like I went to the bathroom. If Mion or one of them suspected something, then there could be problems. Well, they'd figure it out sooner or later because both Ren and I would start winning over and over again. Both Ren and I will have earned enough points to avoid being the losers by the time Mion realized what was happening. Excellent. Not bad at all.
Maya Barakun, may I have a moment?
Huh? Oh, that's the teacher.
Maya Barakun, may I have a moment?
Huh? It's the teacher? Man, things were just getting good. What is it? If I'm a bit...
You have a guest. Please make your way to the entrance.
A guest? It's not like I own a hotel.
They have been waiting. Please hurry.
It was rather unfortunate that I'd have someone waiting on me right before my big match, but I was more interested in the unexpected guest. I didn't want to waste any time, so I decided to take care of it quickly. The entryway was a heavy contrast from the hot sunlight and deep shadows. Waiting there, looking uncomfortably warm, was a middle-aged man, his tie sloppily loosened and his jacket tucked underneath his arm. Are you Meribara-san? Gaichi Meribara-san. There was no question that he wasn't a resident of Hinamizawa. This was, without a doubt, the first time he had met me. Ever since I met Tomitake-san, I had been running into so many middle-aged men. That's right. Who might you be? I have the AC on in my car. Let's talk there. It's a bit hot out here, don't you think? The man, completely ignoring my question, pointed over to his car parked near the gate and began walking. You've got to be kidding me! I had no intention of going along with some geezer I didn't even know, and he was asking me to get in the car with him? I'm not going to bite. Come on now. Oh no, it's him. I'm not going to bite. Come on now. He opened the back door of his car and called me over. I didn't like this old man, but I wanted to know what this was about. Even while knowing that conversations that start out like this have never led to anything good. The inside of his car was pretty cool. Cars with air conditioners were supposed to be a luxury. My dad didn't have one in his car, at least. Please let me know if it's too cold for you, okay? I have a habit of cranking it all the way up. So what business do you have with me? Out of spite, I decided to ignore his remark in the same way he did to me and start my own line of questioning. He pulled out a notepad from his pocket and took out a picture that was stuck between the pages. On it was the face of a pretty goofy-looking guy. If you know anything related to this individual, then please tell me. Who the heck is this? I doubt even close friends would be able to recognize who he was from this expressionless picture that looked like it was taken at the DMV. There were scribbles on his shirt done in permanent marker, starting with yours, Maribara-san, and quite a few of your classmates signed as well. Huh? This is Tomitake? There was no hint of his usual unreliable and easygoing personality in this photo. It was an expressionless, half-asleep face. Then, do you know this woman? Even before seeing it, I had a good idea of who it was. I don't remember her name, but she was some lady who was with Tomitake last night. I didn't know what her name was, but I did know she was a resident of Hinamizawa. When was the last time you saw these two? The night of the Watanagashi. We spoke. They seemed pretty close, I guess. Did anything bother you about them? Anything is fine. Go ahead and say it. Being asked for every little detail is very troubling, honestly. I had a pretty good idea of who this guy was by now. Did something happen to them? There was no response to my inquiry. Did something happen to them? There was no response to my inquiry. Thus I replied to that silence in kind. I was pretty sure, no certain, that this guy was a cop. Then why? Why was he asking about Tomitake? Did something happen to him? More importantly, why me? Shouldn't there have been plenty of other people who knew more about him than I did? The roar of the air conditioner felt unbearably loud. After a long pause, he finally spoke again. You've moved here just recently, isn't that right, Maribara-san? Are you aware, I wonder, about the stories of Orishiro-sama? My heart began to race. I'm pretty terrible at hiding things. It probably showed on my face. Not at all. If you don't, then that's fine. Well, I have heard of it. Tomitake told me, actually. How much do you know about it? The dismemberment killing, the accidental death, the death by illness followed by suicide, and the lady who was beaten to death. The incidents that have always happened the day of the Watanagashi ending and suspicious deaths. I didn't think Tomitake would have kept anything from me. I think that was everything. No, rather, I didn't want to think that there was anything more than that. Do you know that, well, curse, Maribara-san? Feel free to speak openly about it. I don't believe in it. My answer was instant. It wasn't so much that I didn't believe in it, as I was on the verge of believing. I wanted to clear my own doubts. That was the most prominent feeling.
Really? Then that's great. I guess you really are one of those city-raised boys.
So what if I don't believe? I have friends waiting, so could you get to the point?
The man in this picture is dead.
My mind went blank. What happened to Tomitake?
It would seem that he died last night. That was the night of the Watanagashi. Do you understand the implications behind that, Marabara-san?
Implications? Not any for the cause of his death or the reasons behind it. The real problem was that he died on the date of the Watanagashi, meaning this year. And the curse of Oroshio-sama had once again...
The death of Jiro Tomitake is still confidential. You can understand why that is, right?
I didn't want to understand why. Please tell me. Tell me what happened.
It was rather peculiar. It might be a little too graphic for someone born and raised in Hinamezawa.
It was a roundabout way of saying it, but it caused me to doubt whether or not I wanted to hear the rest. I would only regret forcing myself to learn of something I shouldn't. Or at least that's how I figured I would feel if I listened to the rest.
One of our patrol cars discovered the body on the way back from the security detail at the festival. It was late, about 5 till midnight. The location was, you know where the road into town becomes paved, right? Down past that slope on the shoulder around there. There are a few streetlights on that road. Its pitch-black darkness was only broken by the lights of the passing cars and the moon. It was a stroke of luck that Tomitake was spotted collapsed on the shoulder of the road. Tomitake was face down, covered in blood. Blood and muck covered the asphalt. I thought it was a hit and run at first, but when the officers checked to see if he was still alive, he quickly noticed something abnormal. His throat had been ripped open.
From a knife or something?
No, nails.
Nails? As in fingernails? With those he clawed through?
From the coroner's report, it was revealed that it was with his own nails.
What does that mean? Basically, it means it wasn't a murder. It was suicide.
Tomitake
thought there was a reason to tear open his own throat. As hard as he could with his own nails. Tore through the skin until he started to bleed. And even then, Tomitake didn't stop. He continued clawing. With enough intensity that it could have peeled, his nails still clawing. Still clawing. Then as his nails reached those vital arteries that you should never damage, he continued clawing. Splurt. Blood splattered on the ground around him. As he bled, while gasping for breath, he collapsed, his body spasmed, and he died in agony.
We thought drugs were to blame, but nothing of that nature was detected.
But this, it was a suicide? I've never heard of such a thing. This is a natural way of dying. If this wasn't a mysterious death, then what was it? The way he died in those 5 years, his death most resembled that of a curse. As if to show both myself and Tomitake, who proclaimed there was no such thing as a curse, that we were wrong.
There were a few more suspicious details. From his body chemistry, perspiration, epilation, and so on, we concluded that he was in a state of hysteria right before his death.
That was a given. It's hard to believe someone could be of sound mind while clawing out their throat.
Wounds on his hands matched a discarded piece of lumber found nearby. There are traces of where he struck trees and the guardrails with it.
Tomitake's blood was found all over the place, meaning... Oh wait.
Tomitake-san's blood was found all over the place, meaning
that while tearing at his own throat, he was swinging around a piece of lumber.
There were external injuries, which were not self-inflicted, discovered on Tomitake. There is a high probability Tomitake was assaulted. The external injuries suggest there may have been multiple suspects.
To summarize, Tomitake was surrounded and attacked. While wandering the night roads in a state of panic after being cornered, he picked up a piece of lumber and tried fighting back. Somewhere in there, he began madly tearing at his own throat, clawing at it. Then he died.
The presumed time of death was around 9:23 p.m., meaning it occurred right after you finished talking to Tomitake at this festival.
Everyone signed Tomitake's shirt, then parted ways. Right after that. Oh, yeah, you should have been with a woman. What about her?
She's missing. She hasn't shown up to work, and she hasn't returned home either. There is a very high probability that she was involved in this incident.
For a while, I could only gaze off into space. I never would have thought that something unfortunate happening to somebody close to me could affect me this deeply. The time I had spent with Tomitake was short. But we went to the same festival, spent time together, took part in the same competition. He was one of us.
We have been continuing the investigation on various fronts, but when it comes to Oroshiro-sama's curse, the villagers here aren't very cooperative.
That I knew well. I would have been none the wiser if not for Tomitake, the outsider, telling me. So that's why you came to me? Because I'm not originally from Hinamizawa? I should have been angrier that was the reason he wanted to hear what happened for me.
If things go the way they had been, then the conclusion would be that Juro Tomitake died from Oroshiro-sama's curse.
He turned away from me
and gazed far off into the distance. The night of the Watanagashi, during that sacred ritual, he callously snapped photos angering Oroshiro-sama. That's how it's going to turn out.
There's no way! Oroshiro-sama would inflict divine punishment on Tomitake! Tomitake had to have been killed by humans and a cowardly group, no less. There's no way I'm going to let this end up being the fault of some curse!
I think so as well. There's no such thing as divine punishment or curses.
The tense mood was cut with the man's hearty laugh.
That's how this must be, Marabaro-san. Cooperation from individuals in Hinamizawa who don't believe in the curse is indispensable. Understand?
Neither Tomitake nor I believed in curses. But with the way things were going, it would just end up with Tomitake's death marking the 5th year. Which would mean that Hinamizawa had rejected Tomitake. That was something I couldn't allow. Tomitake was one of us. He didn't live in Hinamizawa, but he came every single year. In a sense, he was more of a resident than I was. There was no way that Tomitake could have been cursed by Oroshiro-sama. But there's nothing I can do to help. I have no idea what happened that night either.
No. If you see or hear something that draws your attention, then that is enough.
If I see or hear, he was talking in the future tense.
Things or people or rumors. Anything is fine. I don't care if they're unfounded. Here, this is my number. If I'm not there, then just leave a message with whoever picks up.
He handed me a piece of paper with his number on it, but I hesitated for a second. If I took it, then whether I wanted to or not, I'd be knee-deep in this matter.
Please help me solve these questions surrounding Tomitake's unfortunate death.
That's right. Why was I hesitating? I needed to find the murderer who killed my friend. I snatched up the piece of paper as a satisfied grin spread across his face.
Everything we spoke of today is a secret. Please keep this confidential.
Understood.
From your friends as well. Especially from Sonozaki-san and Furure-san. Please do not inform them.
Sonozaki? Sonozaki? You mean Mion? Why? Are you saying they have something to do with the incident? My friend's name's brought up so abruptly. I'm being told to keep it a secret from them. I became rather angry.
This is what they call investigative privilege, I suppose.
Don't play games with me. Mion is a close friend of mine. I snapped at him, but he didn't seem to be especially offended.
I wouldn't mind telling you, but it may just upset you.
Say it!
He hesitated a little.
Turning his gaze to the outside of the car, he began to speak after thinking for a bit.
There is a possibility that the string of incidents happening here in Hinamizawa are a result of a village conspiracy.
There's no way that could be right. Give me a break. First of all, is there any proof of that?
No evidence. Also, each of the cases were resolved and none of the perpetrators had any direct connection to the village.
Then how did you come to that conclusion?
Every year, the enemies of the village die on the day of the Watanagashi. Don't you think that's enough reason to suspect something?
Only the residents of Hinamizawa felt that day of the Watanagashi was sacred. So basically, incidents happened on that day. It was somehow related to Hinamizawa?
First, it was a dam construction foreman. Then it was a villager that supported it. Those the village hold a grudge against and die one after the other from mysterious causes. The means are different, but in the end, the result is the same.
Unfounded, unreasonable suspicion. But it couldn't just be shrugged off. So the victims after that. What about the Shinto priest and his wife's death? They weren't enemies of the village.
The villagers had expected leadership from the Shinto priest at the time of the dam dispute. But he wasn't proactive, so there was a faction of villagers who harbored ill will towards him as a result.
Ill will? It's not like he did anything bad to the village. What about that housewife after that? Did she die just because she was the wife of the brother of the supporter? That's such a trivial reason to kill someone. I need to refresh my throat. Okay. That's such a trivial reason to kill someone. And what about Tomitake? He's not affiliated with the damn project at all. Was he killed just because he was an outsider? In the beginning, it fell on those related to the dam project, but as the years went on, the enemy threshold of the victims had become much lower.
Well, that's the scary part. The bar keeps getting lower.
What's scary about that?
It means it's not just enemies of the village anymore. Just being an outsider is a reason enough.
Then next year's victim, they're just gonna be picking out of the village outsider pool?
It might be a person that just moved here.
What do you mean by? I swallowed my words. Here in Hinamizawa, the ones who would be considered the most outside would be my family. I was proof enough of that, wasn't I? I still couldn't really remember the names of the people I passed by. Then, the next victims, my family. Was he saying it was going to be me? But what does that have to do with Mion?
I can't go into details, but the Sonozaki family led the dam protest. Quite fervently so. This is also true of Mion Sonozaki herself. She has quite a few misdemeanor and obstruction of public worker offenses on her record because of the protests.
Hi! Welcome! I'm just out here acting my heart out. I knew Mion knew what it meant to fight. This was the first I've heard of her family leading the protests, though. I'm doing well. How are you doing? Then, well, what did it all mean? Are you saying that Mion's family is involved with a string of incidents?
I wouldn't go that far. I'm just saying that if it was a conspiracy, then they'd have the highest probability of being behind it.
Not a very clear explanation. It felt like he'd magnificently avoided the details I really wanted to know.
We don't know who or how involved anyone is right now. That is That is exactly why I don't want you to say anything to the villagers.
Instead of answering, I gave a very bitter expression. It seemed that he understood it well enough.
Then think of it like this. I don't want to worry the villagers who blindly believe it's a curse. How about that?
Ah, thank you! Thank you for stopping by! What do you mean by... What do you mean, how about that? How should I know? But the reason behind wanting me to not carelessly open my mouth about it was too hard to comprehend. The perpetrator was here. It had nothing to do with a curse. He was definitely going to be caught by the police and made to pay for his crimes. And none of the villagers should have anything to do with that process. It may cause those sensitive about the curse to just worry needlessly. Just like everyone kept it from me, so I wouldn't worry about it. Is it now my turn to keep it from them so they don't have to worry? I was just talking to myself. Unlike me, everyone else had been worrying over these mysterious incidences yearly, and the incident this time probably means a lot more to them. I didn't want to murder them anymore. In the end, everything went as the man had wanted, as inspired as it was, but it couldn't be helped. I understand. I'll keep it to myself. Is that fine, Mr.
Oishi from Okinomiya Police Station. You can call me Kuro-chan if you want.
No, Oishi is fine. The way he said it was unpleasant, yet retained hints of politeness. He was a spitting image of a vulgar police officer. Though I've never seen one this bulky before in the cop shows I watch.
I've taken up too much time.
Okay.
I've taken up too much time. Your friends are waiting, aren't they? I should probably let you get back to them.
The door opened with a click, and in streamed the oppressive heat. It was blistering outside of the car. Was it really this hot of a day? It was almost a cruel heat as opposed to the mechanical coolness inside the car. It was as if the land of Hinamizawa itself suddenly hated me. I felt a little sad as that thought crossed my mind.
No, I didn't mean to suspect your friends. Please don't misunderstand that.
I refrained from telling him that it was too late to say something that self-serving. It's fine if you don't...
It's fine if you don't see or hear anything, Maribel-san. There is enough proof that the village is not involved.
I'll contact you if I hear or see anything. But I'm no detective. Please don't expect too much from me.
I won't. You don't have to become a detective. Just go on living as you have up until now. Just let me know if you notice anything.
I hastily made my way back to the school building after giving him a quick bow.
See you later. Farewell, Maribel-kun.
I returned to the school building without looking back. I don't know how much time had passed. I did feel bad for keeping them waiting, but right now there was a lot on my mind. Tomitake's death was hard enough as it was, but to think that there was a possibility of a village conspiracy? Worse still, there was also a chance that Mion was involved. Nonsense. Impossible, not Mion, Rena, Satoko, or Rika-chan. It was a group that attacked Tomitake. Who could the perpetrators be? Could it be they were hiding here, somewhere in Hinamizawa? I didn't know. All I could say for certain was that I knew that Mion couldn't be the perpetrator.
It's me-chan, the perpetrator.
Huh? I was startled to hear Rena's voice.
With the rope and the... Wow,
change? Nope. No. Rena clutched her head while flailing about. Looks like you're just self-destructing over here. Wow.
Kaichi! You're quite late, as you may know.
Wait.
Ha! Kaichi, you're quite late. As you may well know, I'm seething with anger.
Sorry about that. I was called into the staff room, you see?
You were reprimanded for bad behavior?
That's a shame. Well, it's been pretty heated over here. Since it's getting pretty late, let's make the next game the last one. If I remember right, I had 0 points. Isn't it pretty much decided I'm going to be finishing in last place?
Don't worry, Kaichi-kun. I'm at -1 point.
The heck? Her score is lower than mine, and I wasn't even playing. This is the final match to decide if the penalty is going to be carried out by Rena alone or by both Kei-chan and Rena. Yeah, right. Just let Rena do the penalty by herself.
We made a promise, Kaichi-kun, that we would both win, and I waited all this time, you know?
Sorry about that. I followed my initial plan of showing Rena my cards, but I didn't say who was the criminal, and just waited for her to call.
I got it! The murderer is me! With the poison at the entrance! Is it?
My, Rena, quite a quick answer. Another stab in the dark? Oh.
Rena's correct. Then it's decided that Kaichi shall take part in the penalty as well. Hooray! Kaichi, let's do our best. Hooray! Kaichi-kun, let's do our best.
Yeah, let's do our best. It's my fault, so I have no choice. Then that's game! It's me, Mion Sonozaki, ranked first. And dead last are Kaiichi Maribara and Rina Ryugu. Everyone applauded and the game ended. The problem now was the penalty. Now then, I ranked first, so I'll decide what you'd be buying for the gopher penalty.
What would she make us buy? I wonder.
Let's blacklist the drugstore. That was your aim, wasn't it?
Huh?
I don't have any business at the drugstore. This old man's got a list prepared for you on this piece of paper. Whoa, there's a lot written here. Wait.
Whoa, there's a lot written here.
A what? Damn it, what is she making us buy? 2 blocks of tofu, shampoo and conditioner, apple vinegar and fried tofu. The heck is this?
It looks more like a shopping list than a penalty. Me was certain she was going to win today.
Rule 7 of our society. You cannot refuse to any penalty. Here's some money. The shampoo I usually get is Fruit Fable. Thanks! This is just your grocery list? I promised myself that if I won next time, I'd make her go buy hemorrhoid cream. Is this the mid-scene or is this the end of chapter 7? Woo! Okay, one moment, guys. I'm gonna need to go feed my dog and stuff, so just bear with me one moment. Okay, so I am currently just waiting for, like, my mac and cheese to, like, finish. I know, stupid. We got these 2 things to read. Whoop-a-po. Ooh, oh, whoa. Oh, whoa. Weird. Okay. Oh, it's his birthday, isn't it? Yeah. But, okay. Okay. I'll bring this up so there are more than 4 perpetrators. Okay, so one moment. Okay, I'm back, I swear I'm back. Hi. Hope my cat wasn't too loud. Hypovolemic shock induced by clawing out their own throat. Tissue is packed under the nails. Not someone else's nails. It's undoubtedly by the individual's own nails. The shape of the scars also matches. Yeah. I know the immediate cause of death was suicide. I get it. You're saying the cause of death is unnatural, right?
It's kind of like when your back itches and you scratch a little too hard and draw blood.
Some of Tomotake's fingernails had been pulled out. It's actually quite simple to pull out one's own nails. But it really hurts. Under normal circumstances, the pain would prevent you from completely pulling them out. Also, there was a lot of bruises on Tomotake's body. It's clear from the shape of them that he was assaulted first by someone or a group of people.
According to the toxology report, the deceased was in an extreme state of hysteria right before death. Then he fought back and clawed out his own throat because of how hysterical he had become. The guys attacking him certainly would have been surprised by that. It is possible that in such an abnormal environment, a person could perform acts that a sane individual couldn't possibly imagine. Of course, those are very rare cases. Actually, Oishi, that wood plank the deceased used as a weapon, they only found sand and the paint from the guardrail on it. What about cloth fibers or skin?
Nothing. The deceased didn't strike the assailants. Or it could be they took the plank he was fighting back with.
In that case, they wouldn't have gone out of their way to replace it with another. They'd take them all.
Ha 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 ha. That's true.
Tomotake is pretty built and tanned. He was quite athletic.
That's right. He was pretty active. I can't imagine what kind of sports he did when he was alive, but I think his physical strength would be on the higher side, meaning he would be difficult to overpower in a brawl. A man of such a physique sensed he was in danger and swung the plank around quickly. It's just unthinkable that it would even nick the perpetrator. And his opponent was unarmed. This guy had a wooden plank, so you'd think he'd hit him at least once.
Just round and takes down someone of his physique. Wonder how many people would have taken.
You dimwit. You should know better than anyone. Have you forgotten your bad cop days?
If I was to take down this guy, how many would I need? When a group wants to take down big prey, it's fundamental to attack with numbers. I'd guess about 4. Even if there was a gap in their strength, they'd manage. And then there were quite a few perpetrators. So any drunk and disorderly groups of more than 4 are suspicious. A group of 4 or more. Just if they had that many, they have hidden the body in a less obvious location? Or did he somehow break away from that fatal predicament? Then there would be no reason to commit suicide. Moreover, I still can't comprehend the irregular way he died. It's full of mysteries. That's under serious consideration on my end, too. I'll be examining it as thoroughly as possible, but don't get your hopes up. After all, we've never encountered a death like this before. I'm not hoping for much, but I am looking forward to the results.
Oishi-san, the chief is calling you.
Thanks. See you around.
Yeah, best wishes.
Oi!
And then the search notice.
Juru Tomotake, deceased. Resided in a cheap hotel in Shishabun City. Registered under the name Juru Tomotake. Pen name. Travels via folding bike. No license. The bicycle was found 300 meters away, abandoned at the side of a forest path. Present on the day of the festival, accompanied by the missing Mio Takano. Was seen around 9 p.m. by police, location afterwards unknown. Held residence in Hinamizawa for 1 week each season for the last 5 to 6 years. Freelance photographer specializing in wild birds. Check with magazine companies. Nothing suspicious in the film located among the articles of the deceased. What was among the articles of the deceased? Mere act of violence? From the contents of his wallet, he spent most of his time around Tokyo and Chiba, along the Sobu National Railway line. No individual matching the name of Jiro Tomatake in the residency records of any of the Tokyo wards. Compare the thief to dental records, sent to Metro Police. Attach a photo, sent to Metro Police. Contacting magazines regarding Jiro Tomatake. Mio Takano, missing. Nurse at Erie Clinic. Became close to Tomatake through her passion for wild bird photography. Resides in Okinomiya X District XXX. Single. Witness accompanied Tomatake on the festival grounds, currently missing. Abducted? Or maybe a suspect. An important person of interest. Had no motive to kill the deceased. Squabble from jealousy? Need to thoroughly investigate their relationship. Place of work, etc. Need to get information from the police on scene again. I want some cream puffs. 4 jumbo ones. Oishi. Bro. I don't know where you're wanting to get those jumbo puffs. You're gonna go get them at Angel Mart. Onwards! Sleepy.
Whoa, that was a really big yawn, Kaiichi-kun.
I'm usually awake once it's time to eat, but it doesn't look like I can do it today. I was watching TV late last night. I'm so tired now.
Was one of those raunchy TV shows you love so much on last night?
How extremely vile!
Don't jump to conclusions.
It's perfectly normal for boys. Nothing to be ashamed about.
Rika not patting my head made me only feel worse. Could you just let me pass out this lunch break? No, seriously.
My thanksy! My, you think I would just sit here and allow that?
I'll get really angry if you disturb me. Really angry. This was just dreadful. Just so sleepy. I slumped my head onto the desk and drifted off into an afternoon nap. It seemed that Satakaru had responded, but I pretended not to hear. Cut it out, Satako-chan. Wait.
Cut it out, Satoko-chan. Kaiichi-kun fell asleep.
Oh, wait. That's Rena.
Cut it out, Satoko-chan. Kaiichi-kun fell asleep. His face is so cute. You can take him home later. Let him be for now. Let's move over there. It'd be rude to Kaiichi if we bother him now.
Rika really is a good girl.
Let's not wake him up even if the teacher comes back.
I take that back. The excuse that I didn't sleep much last night because I was watching TV was a lie. I was in bed at the usual time, but because of the conversation with Oishi that afternoon, I didn't get much sleep. Spending the day like this is almost as if the incident with Tomatake didn't happen at all. It made me think, was Oishi just trying to deceive me? But it was possible. It was probably the truth. One thing was certain, I couldn't speak to anyone about it. He wanted my assistance, but I really didn't know anything about it. If I knew I wasn't going to be of any help, I probably wouldn't have listened in the first place. It ended up with me again, regretting learning something I didn't need to know.
If I had never learned about it, I would, without a doubt, be goofing off with the rest of them right now. I couldn't help but resent Onishi for this. Huh? What was that?
I heard he wasn't there the next day. It appeared he vanished the night of the Watanagashi. I heard he wasn't there the next day. It appears he vanished the night of the Watanagashi.
Leon whispered to keep others from listening, but I could hear it clearly. On the other hand, Rena's voice was even harder to pick up, but I could still tell that she was quite upset. It couldn't be. Are they talking about Tomitake?
Only Tomitake?
Not sure. That's all I know. I would have to feign ignorance about this topic because I needed to keep it a secret. Rather than waking up being forced to lie to join the conversation, it was much easier to just sit here and pretend I was asleep to listen in on the discussion. Wait. Why did I have to pretend to be asleep while eavesdropping on my friend's conversation? The guilt stung.
So, me and there are others, right? Two? But they don't know if it's from the curse or if this was an onikakushi.
Onikakushi? Onikakushi? To be hidden away by a demon? What a mysterious phrase. I did, however, get the feeling it meant nothing good.
Yeah. Well, there was another, right? Right?
If it's Orishio-sama's, yeah.
But, this year...
This year... This year that at all?
Grandma and the mayor had talked about it. Seems they talked to the police about it beforehand.
They said they'd take care of whatever happens this year without causing a commotion.
Then without us knowing it, someone had... them and you mean...
Maybe.
Next could... me... I wonder...
Don't worry. You got home safely.
But it's not allowed, right?
That was a long time ago. Let's stop talking about this. Amidst the uncomfortable mood, both of them went silent. The entirety of the conversation was still a bit unclear, but a few parts caught my attention. First of all, the term onikakushi. To be deemed away by the context it was used in it, I would guess it's similar to being spirited away. I suspected that was what it meant because Tomitake and that woman, it really bugged me that I don't know her name, vanished after the Watanagashi. The next thing that stuck out was when Rena said there's another one, right? Mion also said if it's Orishio-sama's, yeah, responding to something. If it's Orishio-sama's curse, then there had to be two victims. Is that what she meant? Come to think of it, I remember Mion saying at the beginning that they didn't know if it was from the curse or if it was a case of onikakushi. It seems that the curse and being deemed away are different things, and they were phenomena that were paired together. I recall Tomitake's terrible end. That wasn't something as elegant as disappearing. That horrendous end would be described as cursed. Then the woman with him, it means she vanished because she was deemed away? What I do know is that there's normally an even number of victims of the curse proper. And the last point that bothered me was Rena. Rena was frightened. For what reason, I didn't know. However, she knew that something had made her a potential target for Orishio-sama's curse. If I recall correctly, Orishio-sama should be the guardian deity of Hinamizawa. Isn't a guardian deity supposed to defend the citizens and drive out invaders? If I recall correctly, yesterday Oyushi said that originally the targets were enemies of the village, but recently there was no longer any distinction between them or regular outsiders. But if that was the case, then I would think that I would be more than likely the target, having moved here more recently than Rena. From her composure, I could infer that she was grimly certain that she would be next. I should probably relay what I heard just now to Oishi. Informing the police of what I heard by eavesdropping on my friends while pretending to be asleep. It made me feel terrible. It raised a few questions and left me with a bad taste in my mouth. Would it be better not to seek the answers to those questions? As I continued to learn more and more, I felt like I had fallen past the point of no return. I would definitely regret this one day. I would definitely regret ever having learned at these events.
The teacher approaches! Daiichi-san! You must awaken!
In the distance, I could hear the ring of the handbell signaling the start of the afternoon classes. I couldn't sleep at all.
Let me get some bites in here real quick. Good noodles.
I hastily opened my eyes and raised my head up. It was in that moment when I leaned against the back of my seat. Ugh. There was a thumbtack stuck on the back of my chair with tape. Circumstantial evidence was enough. Satoko! Guilty without trial. Capital punishment. I fiercely jumped up from my seat. And I tripped as if my feet were tangled up. My shoelaces had been tied together. Not bad, Satoko. While I was sleeping, you were able to conceal your presence and able to pull off this fine piece of work. The teacher came in right as I was about to pull off my shoes and tackle Satoko.
Did you not notice that our teacher has arrived, Kaiichi? Take your seat!
Clomp, clomp, wish. Not caring one bit, I made her eat a flick to the forehead.
Kaiichi's being mean!
Hey! Don't pick on the younger kids, Mayabeta-kun! Apologize to her! I saw Satsuko stick her tongue out at me. That little brat! Come on, Mayabeta-kun! Yeah, I'll apologize. Sorry, Satsuko-san. In any case, I apologize even if it was in a completely insincere tone of voice. Damn her. I'll remember this.
Kei-chan. Get your revenge at the club meeting. Take your seat.
I sat down after Mion told me to. She switched to class representative mode. Ew, gross. Okay, wait. One moment. Okay, I think I fixed that. Cool. Ah, boo-boo. So you switch to class representative mode. With the boring classes finished, school was finally over for the day. Now then, what should we do for our club today? Personally, I would like to play that deduction game one more time. I was hardly able to play it last time because of Oishi-san. Ren and I weren't even able to test out our strategy.
That's right. Today Kaiichi-kun and I will be victorious. What should we do? We've never played the same game 2 days in a row before. Why not try asking me?
Mion looked over her shoulder as she made eye contact. She slowly tapped her palm with her fist as her face suddenly lit up.
Oops! I completely forgot. I need to go help my uncle today. Sorry, guys, not today.
Helping your uncle? Aren't you a little goody two-shoes?
Sorry, really. I really did forget. Well then, sorry, guys.
This old man is heading back home now. Mion left us with that and rushed off to the exit after snatching up her bag.
You see, Michan, she sometimes goes to help out at her uncle's shop in town.
Ah, I thought she wasn't the type to get caught up in such bothersome stuff.
She said that she gets paid for it. It's quite a bit of spending money from what I hear.
I see. She was able to pay for that mountain of games with what she saved up from there. But wouldn't you call that a part-time job? Isn't that against school policy?
There's a clause that says family businesses are excluded.
Is that what she's calling it? So what now? Pass on the club today?
So, we're done today, I guess?
Want to be fine even without the club president? Let's do this! I opened the club locker and began searching for the deduction game from that ever-growing pile of games. Ah, here it is! The deduction game from yesterday! Man, I had to stop just as I was getting the hang of it. At the very least, I wanted to repay Satoko for what she did during the afternoon break.
I do not mind. But is that fine for Rena-san and Rika? If Kaiichi-kun wants to so badly, I wouldn't mind playing for a bit. I think it's better if we do it when we have everyone together.
When she says it like that,
I wanted to go shopping if there wasn't a club meeting today. Going to buy soy sauce and other things.
Oh, that's right! I completely forgot!
Well, I guess since it's been a while, I should go treasure hunting.
What's this now? Everyone was no longer in the mood for club activities? If I kept trying to push them at her, it may make them realize I had a trick up my sleeve. Oh well, I'll give up this time. Man, I was really looking forward to playing it. I shuffled through the cards as if I still caught up on it.
The next opportunity, I shall give you a sound thrashing.
The murderer is Satoko! The murder weapon is a pistol! It was you after all!
What did you say? Then I'll just...
Satoko looked through the cards on the desk and stuck out 3 of them at me.
The murderer is Kaiichi. In the lounge with the rope.
I don't need no rope. I'll just strangle you like this.
No! Kaiichi is such a beast!
Phew. Well, I guess it's good that I got that out of my system.
Ah! Gee! She was used as a plaything for quite a while. How unfortunate. Cute, cute!
Everyone got ready to go back home. I also helped gather up the scattered cards. I suddenly paused. They were just the suspect cards, but I noticed something strange. Rena, Satoko, Rika, Gaiichi, Mion, Satoshi. Satoshi? Not all the cards are made by us. Or at least every card besides this one has the name of a club member. Does this mean that this Satoshi fellow is a member? Was there someone in the class named Satoshi? Can't find anyone named Satoshi on the class roster stuck up on the wall.
Gaiichi-kun! Let's hurry and finish cleaning up!
Being rushed by Rena, I finished up quickly. Satoko and Rika had already headed merrily for their lockers, so we were the only ones left in the classroom. Right now, Rena had gloves in her bag and was ready to leave. Rena, there must be quite a few people who transferred from this school, right? I tried asking Rena in a roundabout way. Rena made a troubled face and then answered,
Yeah. It's always a rural town, right? Some people transfer out every now and then.
Then is Satoshi another one of those transferees?
Sorry, I don't really know.
There was a bit of a pause, but the answer was pretty much immediate.
I'm not saying it to be mean. Just last year, I transferred in, so maybe I dismissed him. So I didn't hear much about him. Sorry.
I am not sure. Sorry. Her answer was a lot like when she refused to tell me about the murder at the dam. I was saddened by her denial and felt a little bit of anger. I'm their friend, aren't I? Friends don't keep secrets from their friends, do they? Though I do appreciate that they kept that unsettling curse thing from me. But if everyone is worried about it, I'd rather be worried with them. That's what it meant to be friends, right? For a moment I wondered just what kind of face I was making just then. Of these mixed feelings of sadness and annoyance.
Gaiichi-kun, you're making a scary face. And why is it? Why?
It's probably exactly the kind of face Rena said it was. It appeared my grim expression had frightened her. Sorry. I was really looking forward to the club today, and I'm just feeling down about it. I rustled Rena's hair. Let's go home. Dragging that awkward mood with us, we headed home. I wonder why. Why have I been getting this dumb feeling lately? I didn't know anything. I had nothing to worry about. I was just enjoying my everyday life. My long outstretched shadow gave no answer to my naive inquiry.
Gaiichi-kun, are you tired, maybe?
Rena timidly answered the question, the reason behind my mood. I'm sure my expression made the situation even more unsettling. You think so?
Yeah, you seem to have been a little out of it ever since this morning. Maybe a cold?
Physically, I was pretty sure I was in perfect health. I mean, it seemed like it, but I've had perfect attendance since elementary school. Rena continued on since I didn't give her an answer.
It could be that fatigue from moving has finally caught up to you. It's completely different from where you used to live after all. Of course you've gotten tired since there's so much you need to get used to and remember.
Maybe that's it.
Yeah, it has to be. Rena was also like that at first too. I can tell, you know?
I wondered if Rena also experienced a slight bit of alienation last year that I was feeling right now. Thinking so, I felt that she was the only one who could understand how I felt. I'd like to hear about when you first came to Hinamezawa. How was it? Feeling I had been drawn into the conversation, her face suddenly brightened.
It was the same as Kaiichi-kun. I didn't know the villagers' names at all. Michan and the rest were all very kind, so I wasn't lonely, but I did still feel a little bit out of place.
Rena told me all the details of when she had moved here. All of her first acquaintances and surprises, worries, and good times. So Satoko got you too?
Yeah, there was a thumbtack put on my chair. Boop. And with that, that really takes me back.
When were you invited into the club? The first day?
Nah, there wasn't a club at the beginning. It was formed partway through. One day she said we should stay after and hold a big game tournament.
Come to think of it, Mion did say she was the first club president. Now I get it.
This is a secret, but Michan used to be really bad at the beginning. She'd never win.
Huh? Mion? Really? I can't even imagine that.
She had to do most of the penalties that she came up with. Seriously, don't tell.
I can't believe Mion was like that. So she gradually transformed into a monster who used any means necessary to win during that time? Mion is at her best when she's fighting dirty.
I began making more friends besides Michan after that, but yeah, it might have only been since you moved here that I had finally felt like I had gotten used to it here.
I guess Rena had also been left in the dark about Orishiro-sama when she had just moved here. I guess when they finally told me about Orishiro-sama, I'd be considered one of them. I wonder when I'll finally be considered one of them.
Huh? Did you say something?
No, sorry. Just talking to myself.
Kaiichi-kun, you're silly.
Rena was poking fun and laughing at me, and I couldn't help but laugh as well. But I suddenly stopped. Then after making up my mind, I spoke. Hey, Rena. Is there something that everybody is keeping from me?
Huh? No, not at all.
You're lying, aren't you? Rena suddenly stopped. Her expression was cold and intense.
What do you mean by that, Kaiichi-kun?
Her tone was still the same cheery and light-hearted one as before. You aren't you? Keeping something from me? After understanding what I meant, her expression grew even more intense. Seeing that face, I regret saying something so rash, but she came back at me in a way I didn't expect.
Well then, Kaiichi-kun, aren't you keeping something from us?
Huh? Her tone didn't change, but it was the first time I'd seen this expression from Rena. With how her gaze pierced through me, I couldn't believe this was the same Rena.
Aren't you? Lies or secrets, aren't you?
You are. Secrets. She didn't actually say that part, but she looked as if she did. The incident of Tomitake and how I felt alienated from the group. Even without having to think about it, there were things I knew that I felt guilty about. But I didn't tell everyone about what happened with Tomitake to be considerate. I was keeping it a secret just the same way they didn't tell me about Orishiro-sama. Then, aren't we even? No, I'm not. No lies. Nor secrets.
Liar.
Her answer was instant, and it shook me. Rena stared, as if burrowing through me, watching me like a hawk. Why would you say I'm lying?
Didn't you say that you were called into the teacher's room yesterday during the club meeting, Kaiichi-kun? I know. You didn't go to the teacher's room.
I swallowed hard. It clearly wasn't a bluff. She knew what happened.
The teacher said you had a guest, didn't she? But you didn't talk at the entrance. You talked inside of the car near the school gate with some man we don't know.
Rena knew everything.
She knew that I was called out by Uishi, and that I heard about the incident with Tomatake as well. Did she know all of it?
Exactly who was that man?
I don't know him.
Why did someone you don't know have business with you?
I wanted to know that myself.
Then what did you talk about?
It has nothing to do with you guys.
It was a lie.
Lies! Rena's screams echoed through the trees, sending frightened birds into the air. I could exhale the deep breath. I couldn't exhale the deep breath I had just taken. No, it was like I wasn't allowed to exhale. It was here I first realized. The person in front of me, she wasn't Rena Ryugu. And who was it, standing before me now? Who had assumed Rena Ryugu's appearance? I had held my breath for so long I could feel myself suffocating.
Right?
And then she made a facial expression that Rena normally might have made. It didn't matter that it was Rena's usual smile. It chilled me to the bone. She drew closer to me. I felt her breath against my face. It wasn't the least bit exciting. Whoever this was, with Rena's face, was going to chew my nose right off. A coward as I imagined that. And then she smirked as if she was able to see right through me.
We also have secrets, just like how Kaiichi-kun has secrets.
It was Rena's usual smile, but her eyes were still like that of a hawk's, bringing her face close enough to mine to almost bump into my nose. She kindly persuaded me. I couldn't nod or shake my head. This person standing in front of me, this person who looked like Rena, frightened me to my core. I was terrified knowing that she could hear the sound of me swallowing nervously. After what felt like an eternity, after a long, empty silence, she finally spoke.
Let's go. It's getting chilly.
It was Rena again. Smiling at me once more, she started walking as if nothing at all had happened. When I was released from her gaze, my legs gave out from under me, and I slumped onto the ground. I wasn't able to lift a finger until Rena was out of sight. Who was that? I felt cold. My body was drenched in sweat. I was finally able to form a coherent thought and ask myself once again, who was that person? Who looked like Rena Ryugu? Boy. Midway or end of chapter? Midway. I was out of it and couldn't bring myself to do anything until dinner, except stare blankly into space. Was I terrified from Rena going off on me? No, that's not right. That was someone else who looked like Rena. Then who could it have been? It was a dreadful feeling. Knowing that was someone else, not Rena. So tomorrow I shouldn't have any problem talking to Rena like I usually do. Alright, uno momento. There we go. That thought was strangely comforting. I concluded that I should just calm down and clear my head. Though those thoughts continued swirling around my mind. Finally, I returned to my senses as I heard my mother calling out to me from the bottom of the steps.
Kaiichi! It's a call from the bookstore.
Bookstore? Can't think of why they'd be calling me. I went downstairs and picked up the receiver anyway.
My apologies for calling so late at night. It's me, Oishi, of the Okinomiya bookshop.
Oishi? Oh, it's Oishi!
Sorry. Since your parents picked up, I said I was from the bookstore. It puts off people when I say I'm a police officer.
Oishi was in his own way rather courteous. Even so, I didn't want my parents hearing me talk to the police. I brought the cordless phone with me as I dashed back up to my room on the second floor.
Sorry for calling so late. That phone number on the piece of paper I gave you yesterday was the old number. My apologies. Can you copy down the number I'm about to give you?
Ah, yeah. Okay. He gave me the number from his direct line as I wrote it down. I thought that was the end of it, but he began making pointless small talk, and it was pretty hard to hang up.
So how's it been, Maribara-san? Did anything strange happen recently?
I see. This was the real reason. He really beat around the bush there. His adult conversational skills left me slack-jawed. Are you from around here, Oishi-san?
Yeah, I am. Born and raised in Okinomiya.
If he's from around here, you might know. Oishi, do you know what this onikakushi thing is about?
I believe that's when somebody suddenly vanishes because they've been abducted by a demon. It's a special saying from around here. It has the same meaning as spirited away like everyone else says.
Whereas my friends would say they didn't know when I asked, this older man gave me a direct answer. It made me a bit happy that he answered me directly without trying to hide anything.
Hinamezawa was, not sure if I should tell you this, Maribara.
Don't try to play this off. If you're not going to talk, then I'm not going to tell you anything.
Oh, no. That's not what I meant. It's just, it may make you feel bad. You see, long ago, Hinamezawa was feared as the village where demons reside.
Demons? By demons, you mean those pitchfork-carrying things in hell?
More like human-eating monsters. They'd go down to villages, snatching people up and gobble them down. That kind of tale.
Demons snatching up people is what this onikakushi really means?
They said that the curse and being demoned away happened together. And that was Keiichi.
They say that the curse and being demoned away happened together. What does that mean? I already knew about the mysterious deaths happening 5 years in a row, but I didn't know there were people disappearing for the same 5 years.
The curse and being demoned away happened together? First time I've heard of that. Is that how it is, Maribara-san?
That's what I want to know. I heard Rena and Mion talking. They said that if it was really Order Shiro-sama's curse, then both the curse and demoning away would happen. Oishi began hemming and hawing on the other end of the receiver. Maybe something about that came to mind.
Maribara, do you know the first incident? The murder by dismemberment?
Yeah. One of the 6 perpetrators is still on the run, right?
Hypothetically, what if he isn't on the run but was demoned away?
Huh? It was an outrageous hypothesis from Oishi. The incident 4 years ago was a particularly ghastly one. The police already knew the perpetrators, so they posted tons of wanted posters with faces on them. They staked out various locations and investigated every possible escape route he had. But after 4 years, there wasn't even a hint where he might be. Unless the police were completely incompetent. Even if it was an outrageous hypothesis, I couldn't simply laugh it off. Then what about the incident the next year? When the man who supported the project and his wife both died in an accident?
Well, actually, it was only the husband who died in an accident. His wife's body never surfaced. Unless we find the body, then it's considered a missing person by law.
At the time of the incident, the river below the cliff being muddy rapids, the police divers had searched every branch. Ah, yo, hi, welcome! It's been a while! The police divers had searched every branch of the main stream of the river for dozens of miles, but in the end they weren't able to find her body. But that's just them not being able to find the body. She's still dead, right? Isn't it different from her being demoned away?
We cannot say someone is dead without their body. Until a certain number of years pass, by law she's treated as still alive.
No, but a few days ago? What do you mean a few days ago? Ah! I'm not sure if it was right to call that being demoned away. The wife is missing. At least that part was reality. How about the 3rd year? The Shinto priest died of illness, and his wife committed suicide.
Maibara. That's actually the exact same scenario. The wife had supposedly thrown herself into the bottomless marsh deep in the forest around Hinamezawa, meaning it's all circumstantial evidence. They simply found her suicide note in front of the marsh. A diver was able to recover a few remains, but they weren't able to find a body. The investigative headquarters believed that she had faked her death and was still alive somewhere.
Oh! I'm sorry, I didn't mean to! It was probably a lore stream. So I'm sorry. I don't mean to ignore you. I miss seeing you in the chat and everything. Was still alive somewhere.
I'm not sure if we could call these cases as being deemed away. It's just as you've said, every year one person does go missing.
The incident this year, the woman of Tomitake has gone missing. Then what about the incident with the housewife beaten to death? Who went missing? I believe the perpetrator was caught, right?
Yeah, we arrested him. He was some miscreant with a record of narcotics abuse. He admitted to the crime of while being questioned about a different incident. But, well, you see, after he was arrested, a child from the victim's home went missing. It's still under investigation as to whether this appearance had anything to do with the crime.
But you said you caught him, right? Did he have an accomplice?
No idea. It's considered a separate case. Moreover, we can't even check now, because while under investigation, he died in his holding cell. He swallowed a spork and choked to death. It's not known whether it was accident or suicide.
Meaning for the last 5 years, there's always one person who dies and one who goes missing.
That's about right. No, actually, I'm surprised as well. I never realized they had that in common.
I couldn't believe that this could help lead to the closing of those incidences. It was just something they had in common. Could it be that those deemed away have something in common?
Oishi mumbled as he seemed to be thinking about it.
So I summarized the events. The first year was the dam employee. Second year was the wife of a dam project supporter. Third year was the wife of the Shinto priest. Fourth year was the victim's family's child. And the fifth year was the victim's girlfriend, I guess. It doesn't seem like there's anything that connects them.
With the exception of the first year, wives and girlfriends, those do stand out.
It does seem like there are a lot. And that means the fourth year's victim's child was different. It would have really stood out if they were all married couples, except it's not just married couples, but parents and children as well. Come to think of it, I believe Tomitake also told me the younger brother is alive and has moved, if I recall correctly. The child that went missing in the fourth year, who were they?
Apparently it was quite mature. 1 year older than you. His name was Satoshi Hojo.
Huh? Satoshi? I remember that name. Didn't they tell me Satoshi transferred out last year?
He was at your school up until last year. Didn't they tell you anything about him?
Come to think of it, when I transferred in, I believe they said my seat belonged to a recent transfer student. Then where I sat once belonged to the one who was deemed away. It was his seat? I do play Phasmophobia. I haven't played it recently, but I do have it. I recall the cold sensation that came from the desk. It made my hair stand on end. This drink of mysterious stuffs. No, Orochio Masama's curse. I now knew how it connected to me. That chilling sensation, it was that feeling of Orochio Sama caressing the back of my neck. Orochio Sama's curse, huh? Could Orochio Sama's curse really exist? In all honesty, I was beginning to believe it, and I was scared. That was why I wanted to say it was a plot crafted by a man, not the work of a curse. But the more I dug into it, the less likely that seemed. No, the more I dug, the more mysterious it became. If I kept digging, eventually, I'd reach the point where I'd learn something I really shouldn't know. To either be none the wiser or to seek an answer I may regret. Which one would I be happier with? Maybe it'll be me next time. My execution could only be delayed for 1 year. That was when I remembered. Rena says she may be the next victim of the curse. You mean Rena Ryugu? She transferred in last year, and she's your classmate, isn't she? Wait.
You mean Rena Ryugu? She transferred in last year, and she's your classmate, isn't she? These incidents might be a bit too disturbing for a girl. She's not just scared, is she?
Yeah, I gotta get back on it. It wasn't that. She said that it might be her next. She said it in a way that made me think she had a concrete reason behind it. Felt like she was convinced, almost as if she, you could say, she was frightened. Her sudden change of demeanor. That someone who looked like Rena but wasn't Rena. That might be unrelated. All the strange things that I felt from Rena today came back to me.
I see. And I'll be doing a bit of investigation on this end. Please continue your observations of Ryuko-san and Maribara-san. Of Ryuko-san, Maribara.
Are you asking me to keep Rena under surveillance?
That's not what I meant, Maribara. I just want you to watch out for your friend so she doesn't end up the next victim.
At that moment, just as my mouth was agape because I was so impressed with his mature, clever way with words.
A sudden knock at the door sent my heart racing. In an instant, I had pointlessly covered up the end of the receiver.
Kaiichi! Get the door, please!
On the other side of the door, I heard my father's oddly upbeat voice. Oh, that was a boy. That was the dad. Kaiichi, get the door, please!
What could it be? It's so late. Sorry, my dad just came in. Can we leave it at this for tonight?
Yeah. My apologies again for calling so late. If you find anything else out, please let me know. I'll tell you if I make any progress on this end. Well then, have a pleasant evening. Kaiichi, hurry and open up! Daddy's got his hands full!
What is Dad doing? I had stayed in the same position while on the phone the whole time, so my joints were aching. When I opened the door, I saw my father standing there with a tray. On that tray, cookies and 2 cups of black tea, a fairly fancy spread for our household. There was even sugar and lemon slices on the side, everything you could ask for. This is quite the show of hospitality. What's going on, Dad? What's all this for?
Come now, don't play around, Kaiichi. I'm coming in.
Dad was in high spirits and had a smirk on his face. But for my entire life, I've never seen him act this hospitable. What had gotten into him?
So, what were you talking about?
I jumped. It's not something I had to keep from my father. But how could I explain to him that I was talking to a detective, I'm assuming he was, this late at night? No, nothing much. It's just a friend.
I don't mean the phone. She was here, wasn't she? Rena-chan?
Huh? She wasn't here?
Come now, don't try to keep it from me. She just came over to play. You two were chatting away, so I thought I'd bring some tea, but looks like I just missed her. I had no idea what Dad was talking about, but a cold sweat dripped down my back. How long were we talking? Rena went upstairs about half after, so it was close to an hour, I guess. You saw her come up to the 2nd floor? Yeah, I did. I also told her that your room was the door down the hall up the stairs. Rena came to my house about an hour ago. Dad met her at the door and called out to me on the 2nd floor. I probably didn't hear him because I was so focused on my conversation with Oishi. I didn't reply, but he knew I was in my room, so he had her come inside. Then told her my room was on the 2nd floor. She thanked my dad and went upstairs. Then about an hour passed. She passed by my dad just as he was bringing up tea and left. She came upstairs about an hour, and about an hour passed. Then paused by my dad and returned home.
then after she came upstairs until she left, where was Rena? There's only a short hallway between my room and the stairs, meaning Rena had, for about an hour, in the hall. No, she couldn't have been standing in front of my door all that time. The door to my room wasn't particularly thick. You could easily hear everything being said inside. All of the ominous things, all the nonsense I spoke to Oishi all about began rushing through my head.
Honey, don't tease him. More importantly, you need to clean up your studio. It's a mess again. Wait.
Honey, don't tease him. More importantly, you need to clean up your studio. It's a mess again.
Mom yelled at Dad from downstairs. Dad left the tray with me and went downstairs with a disappointed chortle. I followed my dad out of the room with my eyes. I looked down at the floor around the doorway where Rena might have stood all that time. Just now, as I was talking to Oishi, with my back turned, Rena was standing a mere 6 feet away the whole time. All that time in this dimly lit doorway?
What did she see? What did she hear? For what reason? As the steam from the 2 teacups ominously wafted and twisted, the aura of the aroma of black tea filled my room. Bum 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 bum. Whoop! Got a new tip. Damn! I lied to Rena. Shit! Can't believe I lied to Rena, guys. Let's read the new tip. I'm putting my whole self into this. Okay. Notice from the police chief.
July 1st, 1982. 2 departments, 1 through 12. XX Prefecture Police Headquarters. Director General XXX. To the Chief Constable and all facility managers regarding cases situated in the Hinamizawa Village, notice. As cases in Shishibon City, Hinamizawa Village have been reported by certain sections of mass media, it has drawn global attention, which is causing serious repercussions for the local residents. This has become a very serious situation. To protect the livelihood and prosperity of the residents, the following notice has been issued. 1. Designated the following criminal investigations as classified. Okonomiya Station, 1982, case number X, Hinamizawa Village, housewife murder, dated June XX. Okonomiya Station, 1982, case number X, Hinamizawa Village student disappearance, dated June XX. Number 2, non-disclosure of information. Okonomiya Station, 1979, case number X, Hinamizawa Village site foreman murder, dated June XX. Shura Station, 1980, case number X. Shura National Park following incident, dated June XX. Okonomiya Station, 1981, case number X. Hinamizawa Village Shinto priest's wife's disappearance, dated June XX. Oh yeah. Number 3, requesting self-restraint from each organization concerning the release of sensitive information. Please see attached reference materials 1, 2, and 3. Management XX Prefecture Police Headquarters Eternal Line XXXXX. Police Affairs Department XXXX. I hope you're enjoying the acting. This is a very, I can't, this is a, so we're at the end of chapter 7. There is, I think there's like 2 chapters left. Let me see. That's not how you spell chapters.
Okay. Bum 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 bum. We're in Onekakushihen. Okay. I'm trying to see how many chapters are in here. Okay. There are 12 chapters. I believe I read that right. There are 12 chapters, so yeah. You're fine, you're fine. I think all voices are great. I'm just gonna save that again. And continue on. Weariness and a headache. Not a very nice way to start the day. What's wrong? What's wrong? Gaichi, you don't look so well. When did you go to sleep? It seemed that my mom had noticed my sullen state. And yesterday, I kept on waking up in the middle of the night. Without a doubt, I felt a presence. I felt the presence of someone standing in front of my door. Oh man, I don't know if I have. I told myself repeatedly that it was my imagination and forced myself to try and sleep. Except not being able to stand it, I gathered up my courage and opened the door. Of course there wasn't anyone there. I think I did this 3 times throughout the night. Or maybe I just don't remember doing it any more than that. Even though I was able to get to the breakfast table without incident, I still don't feel at ease. It might be a cold. I don't really have an appetite. My, you do seem a little warm. Well, can you make it to school? Technically, I did go to a school, but it was mostly self-study. It wouldn't matter if I missed a day, would it? It could have been that I hadn't been feeling well for the last few days because I really did have a cold. If I took some medicine and got a good day of rest, I might be able to greet everyone with a smile tomorrow. Startled, I looked back and forth between the entrance and the clock. It was 10 minutes later than when I usually met up with Rena. It was Rena. Rena-chan came to get you. What are you going to do? Are you going to take the day off? Rena was a good girl. She might be somewhat quirky, but she was certainly cute. The lunches she made were delicious, and she always looked out for me. Why should I be so scared of something like that? It wasn't Rena's fault. It was probably mine. It had to have been my cold. It just had to be. I'll rest. Sorry. And then I'll go send her off for you. Mom headed off to the door. I would have to pass by the entrance to get back to my room. I didn't have the nerve to meet with Rena, so I wrapped myself in a blanket on the sofa and closed my eyes. I was so sleep deprived. I quickly fell into a deep slumber. I hope that I am portraying the growing paranoia that Keiichi is currently experiencing well. I had only intended to lie down for a bit, but it was almost noon when I woke up. I called out to my parents, but they didn't seem to be around. On the table, I had found lunch prepared and a note. Mom and Dad had apparently driven off to somewhere far away. It likely had to do with Dad's work. This happened every so often, so it wasn't that unusual. They would probably be back sometime after dinner. On the note, it said, "The insurance card is in the cabinet. Take it and go to the hospital." There was also a well-drawn map to the hospital. That's right. I hadn't been there before, so I didn't know exactly where it was. I had a light lunch, although it really was just leftovers from the morning, and just in case went to the hospital. Normally, I never be here in the middle of the weekday. Just walking around like this had me feeling guilty. It was an odd feeling. Following my mom's map, I took a road I usually never used. After walking for a bit, the hospital sign came into view. Erie Clinic was written rather stylishly on the sign. The clinic wasn't very big, but based on the scale of the recipe Nuzawa, it was far too grand. There was a parking lot and even a reserved spot for buses. They must be making a mint. I spaced out in the air-conditioned waiting room until it was my turn to be seen. Marbar-san, please make your way to the examination room. After properly answering all of the chatty doctor's questions, here's round with the old, it's probably a cold. They gave me a shot and 3 days worth of medicine. I thought it was a little overboard, but it would clear away the gloomy feeling I'd been having lately. Then it was worth it. They gave him a shot. They gave him a shot. I'm just confirming my suspicions real quick. Okay, let me... Okay. Interesting. Interesting. Why? Why the shot? Why the shot? That's interesting. Okay. I'm still curious about the shot. I settled the bill and took a quick trip to the washroom. As I was leaving, I overheard a conversation between some elderly people who seemed to be regulars at the clinic. Of course, I had no intention of eavesdropping. If it just wasn't for that word.
Masabene no Nakakushi.
No, my god, that was such a weird thing.
It must have been an Onikakushi. I wonder. She was still pretty young. Might have just eloped. With whom? The man from Tokyo who visits every season. The young one with the big camera. Didn't you know they were getting along pretty well?
Were they talking about Tomitake? I can feel my ears perking up. I don't know about that, but you have to make preparations before you elope. Leave a note or quit their job or something.
Isn't eloping because they didn't leave a note or a message?
The thought that I'll never see that young nurse's face again makes me rather sad. Takano-san is an upstanding young woman. She'll be fine wherever she goes. So her name was Takano? That woman with Tomitake? And she worked at this clinic? Urashiro-sama's shadow was following me everywhere I went. I started listening more closely, but they began talking about fishing, and it didn't seem like they were going to revisit the topic. I gave up and left. Thus, even though I was separated from the daily monotony of school, I wasn't able to escape Urashiro-sama's shadow. But of course, Urashiro-sama was the guardian deity of this place, of Hinamezawa. As long as I was in Hinamezawa, I wouldn't be able to escape. Maybe it was because I was walking outside, but my appetite had suddenly returned. I might as well buy a snack with the change from the examination fee on the way home. Contemplating that, I turned onto a familiar street. At that moment, I heard a car horn abruptly honk behind me. Was I really walking so far into the middle of the road where I'd be in a car's way? I went farther off to the side, but the horn was still honking at me. I turned around, peeved.
Mayabara-san, good day to you.
It was Oishi. He stepped out of his car, AC on full blast, and waved at me.
What's up today? School on break?
Just not feeling well, so I took the day off. I was just about to buy lunch and head back home.
That's great. I'm just about to get lunch myself. Would you mind going together? If you're not feeling up for it, then don't mind me.
I was just going to lie down after going home anyway, and I didn't really have a cold.
I doubt you'd want to eat at...
I doubt you want to eat at one of these local places.
Oh, wait, I doubt you'd want to eat at one of these local places. Let's go into town. It's a bit of a drive, is that alright? I know a pretty good place.
I had finally begun to understand Oishi's roundabout way of saying things. He probably wanted to talk to me about stuff that would be difficult to discuss while in Hinamezawa.
Ooh, we get to see Angel Mort!
And with Oishi riding in his frigid car, it's almost as if the bright sunlight outside was a lie.
I'm sorry about calling you so late last night. Did your parents get angry at you?
No. I recalled Rena, who had been listening to the phone conversation all that time, separated from me just by the door. Even now, the brightness of the sunlight, the thought still creeped me out. With a big bump that jolted the car, the road connected to the city changed from dirt to pavement. My head swiveled back with a sudden realization. That's right. This is where Tomitake died.
They've hit a snag on the investigation regarding Tomitake.
Oishi spoke while peering at me from the corner of his eye.
They believed it was caused by hallucinogenics, given how he was clawing out his own throat. But a drug that could cause that to happen so suddenly is extremely hard to come by. Bear in mind, of course, the autopsy was done with that premise in mind, but we didn't find any leads.
You know that thing you see in comics all the time, where there's a drug that if you put it in them, it doesn't leave any traces?
It exists. Succulical something or other. Well, it's pretty common. But you see, there doesn't seem to be any kind of drug that would cause Tomitake to react like that.
Then you're saying the police concluded Tomitake just died from this curse? I couldn't help but feel that the police were worthless. That is correct. Police are worthless. 100%. I just wanted the idea of a curse to be disassociated from Tomitake's mysterious death. Yeah, I know it's not common, but this is a fictional story taking place in the 80s.
Unfortunately, that's how it looks right now, but putting aside the cause of death, without a doubt, he was surrounded by a group of people and had taken a beating before he died. That was no curse, but an incident that unquestionably involved other humans.
That made me a bit relieved. Oh, you're lurking? We passed in front of the rather desolate but still busier than Hinamizawa train station.
The car pulled into a restaurant parking lot, and I followed Oishi into the shop.
It was pretty crowded, but there were only adults at this hour. Of course there wouldn't be any children here in the middle of a weekday.
2, please. Non-smoking.
This way, please. When you are ready to order, please call me over.
We were led by a purely dressed waitress to our table, and I sat with Oishi-san in the booth. Let me just grab... I don't know if oh no, I definitely know. Let me get a photo of how the attire looks real quick. I'm trying to get a photo of this real quick. Here you go. This is the costume here. This is what the girls have to. This is what they are. What this is the uniform that they have to wear. Interesting, right? Just wait until the little kids wear them, because that happens.
So, what do you think? Aren't the waitresses' outfits here cute?
Huh? Well, I guess.
This shop is always quite busy. It's more about the waitresses and the food, you see.
This is basically Hooters. I'm just gonna state it out right here, right now. It's basically Hooters. Oishi, you're leering.
Am I really?
Yeah, you'd be avoiding that place then. It was like for a charity, but still. Regardless of how the waitresses looked, the food was decent enough. Finishing our meals while talking about some inane topic, Oishi's after-meal cup of coffee arrived at the table.
Yesterday, we talked about Hinamizawa's past, didn't we?
Yeah, that it was the village of man-eating demons or something like that. I will say this character right here. Let me see. this character that's on the screen right here, she is not 18. This character right here is not 18. This is a part-time job for her. She is 14 years old. And she does not like working there. She does not like having to wear this this outfit. And it is very clear and everything, but she's doing it because she has to pay back a debt to her family. Essentially. But yeah. It's Hooters. It's just Hooters.
I didn't know much about it myself, so I asked my grandmother about it this morning.
Oh, she took out the notepad that was stuffed into his breast pocket.
Turns out that Hinamizawa used to be called Onigafuchi, or Ogre's Abyss.
Onigafuchi. That's quite the name.
The name is still around. The marsh where the Shinto priest's wife drowned herself is still called Ogre's Abyss. And it said that the depths of the marsh connected the realm of the demons.
Of course nobody told me about such an ominous marsh.
And you see, it appears that they were both feared and revered.
I respect both born of fear. I guess you could say it was kind of deathfication. A village of inhuman creatures.
Seems the demons were senin, or mountain-dwelling mystics of sorts, taking villagers with incurable illnesses into the Ogre's Abyss and healing them, for example. Even if we are calling them demons, Tengu long-nosed goblins or senin would be a more apt description. They don't seem like such terrible people, even though they were called demons.
Wait, they don't seem like such terrible people, even though they were called demons.
But they were still man-eating demons. According to the story my grandma told me, as payment for treating the son's illness, let us eat the mother who brought him here, was apparently how things went.
The price of curing her son was herself? That's unsettling.
Of course the mother took her son and ran. Then, you see, all the people who lived in Onigafuchi, the demons chased them down, rounded them up, and captured them. The entire village, apparently.
The entire village, apparently. That's quite a frightening thing to imagine.
In the end, it seems both the mother and son were caught and eaten. The end.
There's a problem with this story. Both witnesses in the story were eaten, so nobody would be able to tell the tale.
Huh? But there are plenty of old fables like this. In contrast to the ghastly tale,
Oishi laughed heartily while sipping his coffee. Oh. Cool.
But, well, there are quite a few other tales, where the demons from Onigafuchi band together to capture the prey.
I recall that Mion said all the villagers united and fought against the dam construction. I saw similarities of how that part about unification overlapped.
Normally, they hunted down a single person, and they chose who it was going to be beforehand.
Huh? That caught my attention. Oishi also appeared to be pondering what it meant.
My grandmother told me that you must never interfere with the demon's hunt. You should just hole up in your house and hide under the covers, she said.
So what does this all mean?
It means you mustn't ever help or protect the prey. As long as you don't disturb the demon's hunt, no harm will fall upon the villagers. It seems there's that kind of rule.
Basically, don't help the victims. Pretend you didn't see the atrocities, in other words. What happens if you break the rule?
Well, they're man-eating demons after all.
Many parts of that tale caught my attention. Parts of his story overlapped with theories that the perpetrators were all the village families. Even if it was... Oh, fuck. Even if it wasn't the whole village, it was conceivable that the villagers were hiding under the covers and leaving them to die, when there's a group that was on their hunt, wasn't it? I didn't dare speak it. And then Oishi. I guess it looks like it's either the village families or a group of villagers perpetrating the crimes.
What do you think, Marbara? Excuse me. Another cup of coffee, please.
That's what I wanted to know. It seemed that we were both waiting for the other to say that last part. I waited for the waitress to finish pouring coffee before speaking. Last year, I had a nagging feeling
when Satoshi disappeared.
Oishi muttered as he watched the milk swirl around in his coffee.
So those friends of Satoshi, meaning your group of friends, Maibara, I had a bit, really, just a little bit, okay, of background checking done on them.
If Oishi had said this to me before, I would have been furious since he told me earlier not to suspect my friends. But as it was now, I couldn't.
This might sound pretty stupid. Maibara, if you feel that this is stupid, please say so. So I'll just stop.
She was wearing the most serious expression I'd ever seen from him. It was as if he was telling me to prepare myself and listen. There were quite a few things I regretted hearing from Oishi, but none of them were as threatening as this. A little voice inside me was screaming like an alarm. Stop, Kaiichi. This is probably the last one. I took a deep breath and silenced that voice. I would not run from the truth. Please. That was all I could utter. Oishi stared into my eyes silently for a few moments. After he was certain I was ready, he began. The victim of the incident in the first year was the overseer. A few weeks prior, he had an altercation with Mion Sonozaki.
Multiple altercations.
Oishi had said before that Mion had defied the damn project vehemently. Well, it wasn't hard to believe. How would she be if she got worked up?
In the second year, the married couple who supported the project died in that accident, right? They had a daughter. Her name is Satoko Honjo.
Huh? Satoko, meaning Satoko?
Oishi's look told me that my voice was too loud. I realized it well and quieted down. The Shinto priest and his wife who died in the third year, you see, their daughter is Rika Furure.
Rika was
the housewife who died in the fourth year. You know already, don't you? It was a step-aunt of Satoko Hojo. She was in her aunt and uncle's custody as she had lost both of her parents in that accident. She lived in the victim's house.
I could tell my lips were getting dry. I didn't even have the wits to keep my mouth from hanging agape. I had thought it was nothing but a bizarre incident, one that I could easily distract myself from. But clicking and clacking, it had snuck all the way to my feet.
The one who disappeared the fourth year. By the way, his name, he was Satoko's older brother.
What? Just, wait a second. Just a second. It took everything I had to finally say that. I gulped down a glass of water and once again wiped my face with a napkin. Calm down, Kaiichi Mera. But Oishi was relentless. Instead of waiting for me to finish sorting out my feelings, he started speaking again. You can't wait a second? The last of the things I should have heard. I shouldn't have heard.
All of the victims seem to be connected to your group of friends.
That has to be just a coincidence.
My bad, keep it down. Everyone's looking.
Milan, Satoko, Rika. So what if they're connected? You're telling me all my friends? It couldn't be. It just couldn't be. Oh, Rena's different, isn't she? Rena isn't connected with the victims at all. Rena Ryugu was living in a suburb of. Oh wait, that is Oishi.
Rena Ryugu was living in a suburb of Ibaraki Prefecture up until last year. Well, it's true she hadn't directly met any of the victims.
He said it in a roundabout way. Is he saying she's also connected?
Actually, I looked into her before Ryugu moved away to Hinamizawa. She was suspended from school. Seems she went through her school building and broke all of the windows.
Rena did that? She broke all the windows at her school? That same silly Rena had. I couldn't even imagine it.
It seems that after her 3-day suspension, she didn't return to school. She went to a neurologist and was diagnosed with dysautonomia.
Oh, you're giving me a death stare?
She was given weeks of counseling and medication.
I wonder if it was something like a nervous breakdown. I'd heard that it happened to people who are really methodical or overly sensitive. Neither of those matched Rena's easygoing personality.
And in the counselor's medical report, he recorded all of the conversations he had with Rena. It shows up, and quite a bit at that.
What did? Yeah. You know what? Let me grab this. There is actually a scene that looks akin to it. This is all go. Okay. Okay, I'm trying to find. She was also barefoot during the time as well, if memory serves. I'm trying to find it. One moment. I'm trying to find it. Oh, that's all go on Sotsu. I'm not wanting go Osotsu.
Nico nico ni.
Ugh. I can't find it, but I I will say, eh. What? Okay, so that's not it. So, this is from the original series. It doesn't exactly, like, show what, like, show it, but, like, I can't find the clip, and it's really hard to find, like, clips from the original series. But, yeah. Girly got the, Girly was the Lulu. But we appreciate her. We love her. She's an amazing girly girl. What did? I pressed forward carelessly. There couldn't be anything more for me to regret.
She mentioned the word Orashiro-sama.
Oh, yeah, it's brutal. It felt like someone's stone cold hand was caressing my back. Why had Rena spoken of Orashiro-sama before she even came to Hinamizawa?
It seems that Orashiro-sama she spoke of was like a ghost, appearing in her house every night, standing over her pillow, looking down at her. My mind froze. I couldn't process what I was being told. A while after that, she moved to Hinamizawa. Ah, and that's right. She's not an outsider.
Huh?
According to the residency register, the Ryugu family used to reside in Hinamizawa. Rena moved to Ibaraki right after she finished elementary school. My mind went completely blank. It was similar to the static you'd see on a blank TV channel. My ears began ringing as I lost all sense of comprehension. Marbara, are you alright? Shall we stop? Those words brought me back. I couldn't let it end here. Now I understand, Rena. Then, how about the last victim, Tomitake? Who was he connected with? Irritated, I let out one final reprisal. All of them. Have you forgotten, Marbara? Didn't you spend the night of the festival together quite merrily? Quite a few of the officers saw you enjoying yourselves. Now there was nothing I could respond with. I fell silent as my brain turned to mush. We should get going. Marbara, did you take your afternoon medicine? I had completely forgotten about the medicine I had gotten today until Oishi said that. I got another glass of water and we left the shop after I chugged it down. We got into the car and returned to Hinamizawa via the rough road. I never really paid attention when I was on my bike, but did cars normally shake this much? It was almost as if the road was desperately trying to tell me something. But that big jolt from the difference in elevation of the road when it changed from cement to dirt. While certain that I heard Tomitake's scream, I sat in silence, just letting myself be shaken by the car. I'll drop you off at your house. You missed school because you were ill, correct? My apologies for the long conversation. Why did you talk to me? I blurted out the question. Really just blurted it out. I didn't expect an answer. I did check with you first, didn't I? If we should just stop. Not that! Why did you reach out to me? I understood quite well that Oishi was investigating this string of suspicious incidents.
But why was he telling me all this? I knew nothing and I couldn't help. Everything Oishi spoke of was news to me. First of all, what could I, having just moved here? No. By chance, if there was a reason for Oishi to reach out to me, then it would have to be that I look suspicious to Oishi, as I was part of Mion's circle of friends.
I'm retiring this year. I plan on moving away after retiring as my grandma wants. So while I'm still on the case, I want to bring the truth behind this incident to light.
So Oishi, you suspect them, don't you? All of them. Oishi didn't really give a response. I felt a little late, but I thought it was his way of showing a bit of consideration for my feelings.
This is mostly my intuitions from 30 years on the job. Maibara, you're the one in danger.
Huh? I wanted to try with that was absurd, but in my downtrodden state, I couldn't bring myself to say it.
I'll be retiring this year, so I won't be at the Watanagashi next year. So I want to settle things.
In other words, he was insinuating that on the next Watanagashi, I might be the next victim.
I've been warned by the chief as well. Each incident in the string of cases has been solved, so don't bring it up again, or so I was told. This is the pressure that I'm facing.
Pressure from what?
Someone in Hinamizawa. We've arrived. Is this fine?
After some time, the car finally reached the path to my house. The clock read 2 p.m. I was surprised so little time had passed since we ate. It was hot outside the car. The chirping of the Higurashi hurt my ears. Higurashi are cicadas, by the way.
I won't mind if you just forgot everything I told you today, but I'm still going to keep investigating. I'll end Oroshiro's curse this year.
So you're saying I should contact you if anything happens?
It's fine. Just contact me when you feel you have to, Maribara.
I wasn't collecting enough to understand OEC's roundabout way of saying it.
Be sure to take it easy. I'm sorry for throwing all this at you while you're taking the day off because you're sick.
I didn't really give any sort of response.
I'll always be on your side. If anything, believe that. I'll be off now.
The tires crunched over the dirt road as the car made a U-turn and disappeared into a cloud of kicked-up dust. Felt like I was watching a boat only throw me a lifesaver in shark-infested waters before disappearing into the distance. That was the first time I thought Oishi was being unfair. Telling me I was going to be the next victim and just saying to contact him if something happened. This wasn't a criminal investigation. He was fishing, and I was just the bait dangling off the line. Would the fish be the perpetrator? Or was it really just Oroshiro's curse? Either way, the bait would be swallowed whole. Damn it! I don't want to die! For some time, I could do nothing but stare at the puddle of water left by the AC from the car. Is this the is this the middle, like, intermission? Or is this the end of the chapter? Intermission. I wonder how much time had passed since I laid down. It was getting dark outside. My body was soaked in sweat. It would probably be a good idea to change my sheets. At that moment, the phone downstairs rang. It was probably Mom. Mom was quite the worrywart. Maybe she had called many times, but I just didn't notice it. Hello, this is Maribara residence. Oh, he's alive! Hello! Oh, shit, it's Mion. Oh, he's alive! Hello, this is Mion. How are you doing? Is this one of Kaiichi's friends? Kaiichi is resting now, but shall I put him on? Huh? Is this his dad? Sorry. Idiot. You fell for it!
Huh? Kei-chan!
After our exchange, we both had a good laugh together. Except I was suspicious of her even as we were laughing. Was everybody really involved in the incidents? The fact that I couldn't say no saddened me.
I'm relieved that you seem well.
Rena was really worried, you know? Satoko-chan was happy and said, "You got what you deserved." Rika-chan said,
How unfortunate he's sick.
"Looks like everyone was making a big deal out of it." Well, you know, so... Kei-chan, is now a bad time to come pay you a visit?
A visit? No, it's okay. It's not like I'm dying.
My grandma made a ton of mochi, you see? I was told to share them, so I'll bring you some.
Hey now, you'll catch my cold.
Not to worry, both Rena and I are too stupid to catch a cold. See you! Be there in a bit!
She hung up cheerfully. Rena's coming too? That's what it sounded like. I was so concerned about meeting Rena, but I guess if she was with Mion... I heard the doorbell 10 minutes later.
How are you feeling? Did you take your medicine and rest?
I did just that.
Thank goodness you look well. I was worried.
Sorry, I'll be fine by tomorrow. Mion showed a complete lack of concern for someone who's recovering, and Rena looked like she was worried about me from the bottom of her heart. It didn't look like there was anything behind those expressions. I thought we might hang out for a bit, but it looks like you're not quite in the condition for it. You don't say. It seemed my face appeared a bit sullen.
Then here, Kaiichi-kun. These are the mochi Mi-chan's grandma made.
Rena held out a package wrapped in newspaper. Ah, shit. There might be about 5 in here. It was quite hefty. Ah, thanks. Send my regards to your grandma, Mion.
Yep. Huh, there's one that I made in there as well. I wonder if Kaiichi-kun can guess which one.
This is Kei-chan's homework since he's missed the club meeting today. There are letters on each mochi, so I'll ask you tomorrow. Were you checking if I was feeling better, or did you just come here for club activities? You can't wait for next month? What's next month? Yep, looking fine. Guess you'll be able to make it tomorrow. Man, what are you going to do if my fever comes back because of your shenanigans?
Mi-chan, we shouldn't be making such a racket. Let's go. The other people here will get angry.
Both of them thought my parents were home. It was because the entranceway was a mess. You're right. Let's get going. Ah, by the way, Kei-chan. Yeah? What did you eat for lunch? The sudden question startled me, and I went wide-eyed when I saw Mion. Ooh, nice. Ah, it's going great. I'm having fun reading this. I had never seen her like that. It was a highly unsettling visage. But why is she asking me about what I ate for lunch? What she said was so inane. It was almost meaningless. The way she said it, it was almost like she didn't even care at all about what I ate. I ate out. She must have suspected that I was with Oishi-san. Anyway, I felt that if I hesitated or tried to change the subject, then they'd read too deep into it, so I tried answering as quickly as possible. Except, contrary to the efforts I had made, there was a pause before they replied.
So you ate out for lunch, Kaiichi-kun?
The glimmer from Rena's eyes had changed at some point as well. It was now sharp, as if to make me feel the feigned ignorance behind her words even more. As if she already knew. is how it looked to me. Well, was it good? Why are you asking me this? Mia was speaking in an unusually low tone, almost as if she knew that I had eaten at the restaurant in town. No, I'm overthinking this. Oh, you want to see the original sprites? Let me get the original sprites for you. There's the original sprites. I love how I love the updated ones compared to the original, but like the original still has its charm. Oh, hi, welcome. You play with the PS3 sprites? Yeah, I don't have a PS3 unfortunately, but I do have the Steam at least. No, I'm overthinking this. I mean, both of them should have been in school at lunchtime. There was no way they could have known where I was. Seems you were with a rather astray-looking older guy. Who was he? Flop. The package with the mochi I was holding slipped out of my hands. I could tell the blood had drained from my face, making me go pale. Oh? Wait. Because I didn't know there was one, and then I looked up and I found out that there was one, but I have ADHD and autism, and that made me forget, and my last stream was about 10, maybe 11, 12 days ago. So, so I'm just doing the voices myself.
Oh, Kaiichi-kun, who was he? Could it be that the person from before, I wonder?
I could feel the back of my throat going dry. This was no longer a bluff. They knew everything? How do you know that? It took everything I had to finally force those words from my throat. My knees were shaking.
Because there's nothing this old man doesn't know.
Oh wait, that was me on. Fuck. Because there's nothing this old man doesn't know. Mion sneered knowingly. Her laugh seemed to carry on forever. So, Kei-chan, what did you talk about? It seems like you got pretty worked up over it, too. We weren't talking about you guys! It didn't have anything to do with you or Rena.
Isn't it a bit strange to hear our names come up? Even though nobody asked about that?
Rena's unwavering gaze pierced through my eyes and peered further inside me. I guess. I'm not entirely sure. This is my first time actually playing through the visual novels for, like, I've never played through it before. I dug my own grave. My heart was throbbing so much it felt like I was going to explode. Well, whatever you're trying to hide, this old man already sees through it all. Remember that. I couldn't even shake my head. It took everything I had to stop my teeth from chattering. She never let her gaze break from mine, even as she tilted her head slightly.
Kaiichi-kun, you don't look so good. I think you should lie down.
That's true. We should both head back home. As if nothing had happened, they both giggled at each other and started making their way out. I hadn't moved a muscle since I dropped the package of mochi. As they left, the door slowly closed behind them. All I could do was stare, as if I couldn't move until the door was completely closed. Just as the door was just about closed, it opened again slightly with a sudden creak, sending my heart racing again. A single eye peered in through that narrow slit, and Mion's hawkish gaze peered at me once again. See you, Kei-chan. Yeah! I'd hate if you missed school tomorrow, alright? Thud. The door closed. I wasn't able to move a muscle even after the low laughter died off into the distance and silence once again enveloped the room. Coming back to my senses, the first thing I did was lock the door. They knew what Oishi and I talked about? Why? How? No, that wasn't important. Thinking about it now, all of it could have been overheard from the beginning when Oishi met me. Just as Mion said, I couldn't hide anything. Then what were they trying to tell me? That part was obvious. They were warning me not to say anything unnecessary. What did they deem unnecessary? I only talked to Oishi about one thing, and they were warning me that was unnecessary? I'm so sorry. I'm trying my best. And they were warning me that was unnecessary? What was it that Oishi-san talked to me about? The incidents involving Orishiro-sama's curse that occurred every year weren't individual cases, but were connected as a whole. As well as the fact that there may be multiple perpetrators hidden within Hinamizawa. No, more precisely, that Mion, Rena, Satoko, and Rika were all suspicious. Is that what they were warning me against? What kind of nonsense am I thinking about? I hit my own face hard enough that it let out a loud slap. If only that would wake me from this nightmare, but for some reason it felt like I was punching a blanket. It was almost laughably painless. Calm down, Kaiichi Mihabara. When did I become such a pessimist? Calm down. Settle down and sort things out. The reason Mion knew I was eating lunch with Oishi was probably because somebody from Hinamizawa just happened to be there at that time. They must have told Mion that I was there. That made the most sense. Plus, come to think of it, she didn't ask me where I ate lunch, did she? She only asked, was it good? They were just curious since I was together with someone not from Hinamizawa. It's not as if they had any alternative motives. That's it. That has to be it. Thinking about it that way, it was the same with Rena. I was just being strangely ambiguous about when I met with Oishi, and Rena was just correcting me on that. Ah, man. I understand. That's when I was bewildered by the change in character from the usual mild-mannered Rena. I was just startled by it. That's the most natural way of thinking about it. It felt like my mind was mixed up like a tangled mess of spaghetti. Deep red marinara sauce would have poured out of my nose and ears if you squeezed my head. Thinking that, I suddenly felt like vomiting. I really didn't want that to happen, so I stopped holding my head. Lately, I had no idea what anyone was saying. Spending time with them was fun. It didn't feel like there was any sort of hidden agenda. I really do think they're a good bunch of people. When I just moved here, I couldn't make heads or tails of everything. They were really kind to me. Renner was really kind and always looked after me. As long as that strange affliction didn't rear its ugly head, she was really pretty cute. Miona was also a really good person. She didn't care about anyone's age or gender and was optimistic and outgoing. I was never bored when I was with her. And talking of not getting bored, rambunctious Satoko was a good person for that, too. She was pretty bratty, but that was just the way she interacted with others. Rika was the same way. She didn't speak often, but that didn't mean she was always silent. They're my friends. But after hearing of the better untold secrets of Hinamizawa from Oishi and Tomitake, and when I was told about Orishiro-sama's curse, things started going crazy. Then hearing from Oishi that Mion, Rena, and Satoko and Rika were all suspicious, after that everyone changed. That's right. It all started getting weird after Oishi told me all that strange stuff. At that time, I really should have just not listened to those weird stories. And I even should have heard about the past, and I even shouldn't have heard about the past incidents from Tomitake the night of Watanagashi. If I just hadn't gotten that strange sense of curiosity, if I just hadn't... That's right. So that's why they killed Tomitake. The impudent outsiders speaking to the likes of me after everybody went out of their way to keep it a secret from me? They'll probably kill Oishi as well. For trying to unearth what everybody was warning me was better left buried. Besides that, he was unforgivable for spewing words that made me doubt the others. Of course a guy like that is going to be killed. Both Tomitake and Oishi were nothing but outsiders after all. Oh my gosh. I did not know that. I did not know that was the name of it. Both Tomitake and Oishi were nothing but outsiders after all. They were entities who couldn't coexist with the people of Hinemezawa. Those guys just fall to Oshiro-sama's curse and just die. It wasn't their fault. It was my fault for not being able to hold back my curiosity. It wasn't their fault. 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 I settled into a daze. It was a lethargic feeling like I had just gotten up, but the ominous chill that haunted me had subsided. I was fine now. I was no longer frightened. I had